Hello guys, welcome to Online Web Tutor presented by Prophetic Solutions team. I am Sanjay. We are learning WordPress custom post to type tutorial for beginners and this is our part 1. In this video session guys, we will discuss about what are posts, what are the default post types, what is a custom post type and what will be the plan for this playlist. Basically guys, from this video sessions actually we had started one of the most exciting playlist of WordPress custom post type tutorial. Okay, so and also guys, if you are a beginner to this channel then please don't forget to subscribe and keep watching our various types of WordPress customizations from channel called Online Web Tutor. Basically guys, this is our first video session. So in this video session we will use or we will see some basic concepts about WordPress custom post type. Okay, so basically if you are a WordPress developer then you might heard about the term called post. Okay, so post is nothing, post the single entity, single content actually we can publish in the WordPress panel. Okay, so if we go to the documentation of codex.wordpress.org, this is the official website of WordPress documentation. You can find several basic concepts about WordPress post in deep right here. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. WordPress can hold and display many different types of content. A single item of such a content is generally called a post. Okay, so basically if we publish any of the section from this menu tab or this menu tab or either any of these menu tab, actually all these entities will be saved in our table called WP posts. WP post table is very much important table in our WordPress setup database. Okay, if we publish any page, if we publish any media, if we publish any page, all these sections actually are saved inside this table. But remember, these all differentiated by using one of the column called post type. This post type hold actually what the post type we are publishing. Okay, so let's insert some pages. So just click on page and let's say that add new. Let's say that test page. Okay, test page that we have made, and now let's say this is our test page we have created. Okay, so just I'm clicking on publish. Now successfully we have published a page. Okay, if you go to database table, this is WP post table. If we click on browse, after clicking on browse, if we see that this is the page that we have created right here, test page. Okay, if we just make it in descending order, and now this is the page that we have created called test page. Okay, so if we scroll to post type column, then we can see that post type equal to page. Okay, basically we have created a page from our WordPress setup, and this WordPress setup of type, this WordPress content that we have created is of type page. Let's create another post from this menu tab. So if I click on that, click on add new, and let's say that test post. Okay, so let's add some of the dummy content. This is a simple test post that we have done. Okay, click on publish, and now if you go again back to our database table, if we reload this page, and now as we can see that if I sort by descending, just click on descending, and now this is the post that we have created, and the same table actually has been used to insert this post also. Okay, so this is the test post that we have created. So if we scroll to the column called post type, then we can see that it is a type of post. So according to the post type column guys, according to the post type actually the WordPress provides, the WordPress differentiates that what type actually it is. Okay, we have inserted a page, we have inserted a post, anything if you insert from our WordPress panel, all default actually saved inside this WP post table. Okay, if suppose we are making some plugins, and now by the help of that plugin actually we are generating some tables, then at that condition we can use that table to insert. But by default, if we create any page, any post, any custom post type, all will be inserted inside WP post table. But WordPress differentiates by using the column called post type. Okay, so what are the different types of post types actually WordPress provides? So if I scroll down, so these are the WordPress default post type, as we have seen two of them, like post and the page. Okay, so this is the documentation. Now WordPress provides type post type post type page, attachment, revision. As we can say, this is also a column inserted right here called revision. Okay, so this is nav menu item, This basically means guys that if we are creating any of the menus, any of the navigation bar for our WordPress website, then all the navigation menus actually saved inside our this table. But remember, the post type is now nav menu item. Okay, so basically these are the default post types. Okay, and now you can study, you can learn all about these post types in detail right here. Okay, so in this playlist guys, in this playlist called WordPress custom post type tutorial, we are not going to discuss about that what are the different post types and how can we use them. Basically about the custom post types guys, in WordPress you can do experiment in your WordPress setup. You can create pages, you can create posts, you can create comments, you can create any navigation menus, and now by inserting one by one you can check your WP post table. And remember, you have to check about the column called post type. Okay, so step by step you will get all these post type. Okay, so basically we are going to discuss about what is a custom post type in WordPress. So basically guys, we have seen that these are the post types actually created by WordPress default. But if we want to make some of the custom post type, some of the user defined post types, so how can we define that? So this is called the concept of custom post type. Custom post type is also a post type basically registered by user defined. Okay, user can control all the basics, all the concepts, all the hierarchy of post type by itself. So this is called the concept of custom post type in WordPress. So to register a custom post type in WordPress guys, actually we will use the function called register post type. This is the WordPress function provided by WordPress developers.org. Basically this function is used and to create a custom post type in our admin panel. Okay, so basically how can we use them? If we scroll down, just pick a simple example from this documentation. Later on we will study in depth. Okay, so if I scroll down, so this is, as you can see, this is the basic example actually WordPress developers provided. Okay, so if I copy that, just go to our WordPress folder structure, click on WP content. Now inside themes folder, this is the activated theme called 2017. How actually we can check that which theme actually activated? So if you go to admin panel, click on appearances, and now this is the 2017 theme right now has been activated. Okay, so if I just go inside this 2017, click on functions.php file. So this is the functions.php file. So only we have to append, only we have to add that code that we have copied from WordPress official website to this page. And now we have registered this code inside our functions.php file. So if I save this file, after save, just go to admin panel and reload this page. Once we reload, we can see that this book section is registered by using the function called register post type. And remember, this is the post type. This is the one of the post type that we have registered as a user defined. So this is called custom post type. So just click on that, and now we can create any of the posts inside this book section. So let's create a post inside that. Let's say test book. Okay, so this is a custom post type of book. Okay, so if I click on publish, after clicking on publish, the post has been successfully published. If you go to database table, just reload this WP post table, and now if I again click on descending order, just click on descending order. So now as we can see that test book has also been inserted inside WP post table. But remember, if we scroll back to post type, this is the post type called book. Okay, so this is the custom post type concept guys, where we can actually define, where we can register our own custom post type to WordPress database. About custom post type, various types of concept we will learn later in this playlist. Okay, so just go to slides, and now what we have covered about the 2 points, that is what are post, what are default post types, and what is a custom post type. So next we will make some of the plan for this playlist, what actually we are going to cover in this playlist. Okay, so basically I have written some of the bulleted points guys to keep in your mind, that we will see that how can we register custom post type, understanding about the labels of custom post type. Labels means, if you go to admin panel and now just open post in new tab, as we can see that post add new. Okay, so as you can see there is a label called search post. Okay, if I click on add new, this is a label called add new post. Okay, if I go to pages section as you can see that search pages, okay, this is changes, these labels actually changes according to the post type. Okay, if I click on add new, this is called add new page. These all messages actually changes by the help of these post type. Okay, so if I go to our custom post type, that is books, if I click on add new, and remember if I go to this label, then as you can see that search posts, this is not a simple post, this is a custom post type of book. Okay, so we want to show, instead of post we want to show called book. Okay, so these are called the labels. If I click on add new, so this is called add new post. This is not a simple post, this is a book. So how can we control these labels name? Okay, how can we control over that? So we will see all these concepts inside this topic. Okay, and also we actually learned in our previous playlist called metabox registration about custom metabox in WordPress. We had learned, okay, so how can we register our custom metabox inside our custom post type, we can discuss. Okay, as we have seen that while registering our custom post type called book, we have actually placed our menu items right here. So how can we append? If we want to append this menu section inside this appearances, inside this plugins, means if we want that this book section is not make a menu, it will make a sub menu inside any of these menu tabs. Okay, so how can we control the menus and sub menu positions for our custom post type? We will see in great detail inside our topic called menus and submenus placement. Okay, and also if suppose we want to add some of the filters, as we can see we have a default filter called all dates. Okay, this is the WordPress provided filters, but now if we want to add some of our custom filters right here, that suppose if we have added a metabox of author inside this book section, then we want to filter all the books according to author. So how can we filter that? So for that concept we can actually add a custom filter right here. Okay, so all these concepts we can see inside search filter. And now also we have to add custom column inside this data table list. Okay, as we go to pages section, clicking on pages, and now we can see that title, author, comment and date, these are the columns actually WordPress default provides. So what happens actually if we have added a meta box inside this book section, and now we want to show the author's information inside this data table list. So how can we append our custom column inside this data table list? We will see in this video session called custom column to data table list. And finally we will make sort columns functionality. What was that? Actually, if we go to pages section, if we clicking on title, and as you can see that by clicking on title, our title is sorting according to ascending and descending order. If we click on date, now as we can see that our post has been filtered by the ascending and descending order of date. Okay, so we can also make our custom column filter. Okay, if we make any of the custom columns inside this data table list, then now as we want to make our custom column as a sortable column, so how can we make the sortable columns in our the custom post type? Okay, so all these concepts actually we can see in this playlist. So basically guys, this was our introduction part of our WordPress custom post type tutorial that we have created from now. Okay, so if you have any doubt in this video session guys, then please drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Hello guys, welcome to online web tutor presented by Proof Solutions team. I am Sanjay. We are learning WordPress custom post type tutorial for beginners, and this is our part 2. In this video session guys, we will see that what and how can we use custom post type labels. And also guys, if you are a beginner to this channel, then please don't forget to subscribe and keep watching our part 1 of this video session to get the clear vision about this playlist. So in our last video session guys, we had discussed or made some of our execution plans for this playlist. And also we had seen that what is a custom post type, what are the different default WordPress provides post types, and also we had registered a simple post type without any labels, that is book section. Okay, so first of all we are going to remove this post type, and now we are going to register another post type with some labels. Okay, so first of all we have to remove this section actually we had added in our previous video session. Okay, so just back to folder, and now this is the folder that actually we are running. Okay, so just go to WP content, themes 2017. I think we have attached into functions.php file. Okay, so just I'm going to remove from functions.php file. Okay, here it is. So just get rid of that. If I remove from here, and now if I refresh this page, and now the book section has gone. So let's register another post type by the help of a plugin. Okay, we are going to make a plugin inside our WP post. Okay, inside our WP content theme plugins folder. Inside this plugins folder, we will create a plugin, and now by the help of that plugin, actually we can create our own custom post type with some labels values. Okay, so just back to editor, and now inside this folder, let's make a folder called WP custom post type. Okay, this is the plugin folder that we have created, and now inside this folder let's create a file called WP custom post type.php. Okay, this is the main plugin file that we have created. Now next we have to define some of the information for our plugin so that the WordPress can understand that we have created a plugin. Okay, so first of all, get rid of all these comments, and now I will put some of the plugin basic comments, that is plugin name, that is WP custom post type, description, version and author. Okay, so if I save this file, go to administrator panel, just refresh this page, go to plugin section, and now inside that plugin section actually we will got something like WP custom post type. This is came from these informations that we have registered. Okay, so now what we want from this plugin, we want that we will make a custom post type with some label values, and now while activating this plugin we want to create our custom post type. Okay, so to register custom post type, guys, we know about the function called register post type. Okay, so by the help of this function, WordPress function, we can create our own custom post type. Okay, so just scroll down. This is the example that we have to copy, or we have copied in our previous video session also, where we have created the book section. Okay, so if I copy it again, go to our editor and let's paste it here. Okay, so let's say that about our custom post type we are going to register called movies. Okay, let's say movies, and it should be movie. Okay, so now let's change some of the prefix WPL. Let's say custom post type, and just get rid of that. Let's say register movie. Okay, so this is the function that we have made, and now we need to hook this function with this init action hook. Okay, successfully we have created. So now if I save this file, go to administrator panel, and now refresh this page. Once we refresh, just click on activate button. Plugin activated successfully, as we can see the message, and now this is the movie section that actually we have registered with our own custom post type. Okay, so if I click on this, and now as we can see that add new. Okay, and now if I go add new post, if I go movies, if I create any movie, something called movie 1, okay, just click on publish button, and now as we can see, if we click on movies section, and these all sections are appeared automatically. Okay, but now what are labels in custom post type? Let's open the pages section. Just open in a new tab, if I go to pages section, just see something like that. This is the pages. This is also a WordPress default post type. Okay, so here as we can see that this is the label called search pages, not post, because this section is called pages. Okay, and now if you go to the post section, here as we can see that search post, this is the post type here we have written. Okay, if I click on add new, it is called add new post. If I click on here, it is add new page. So these labels actually changing by the help of this post type. Okay, so we want that when we click on this movie section, we want that search movies instead of search post. Okay, if I click on add new, here we want something called add new movie. And also if you go to the pages section, just I'm clicking on any of this book to edit ink. Now in this edit link we can see that edit page, this is also changing according to post type. If I go to post section, again clicking on all posts, clicking on edit, and now here as we can see that edit post. Okay, but if I go to book section, movies section, just click on edit button, And now after clicking, we can see that edit post instead of edit movie. Okay, so we need to change all these labels according to our post type. Okay, so how can we do that? Just go to official website, and now if I scroll down, then WordPress provides all the basic informations about the label section in deep from its developers website called codex.wordpress.org/function reference / register post type. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to just make copy of all these things. So just let's copy, go to editor, and now let's remove all these things once more and paste it here. Okay, so if I paste it, and now after pasting this code, we have to change some new settings, something called, let's say, WPL, OWT, its custom post type, and let's say register movie. Okay, so just remove this function name, just make copy of this function name, paste it here. Let's remove all these comments first, and also let's rename this, instead of this book type, instead this is movie type. Okay, so we have also successfully changed, but now also we have to change about the labels, that is these actually labels provided by WordPress of books. Okay, so we have to change all these things. So why not, we can actually search and replace all these things. Okay, so just type, I'm typing for NetBeans, that is Control H to find and replace. So we need to replace book, just book, copy book, paste it here, and now I'm replacing with called movie. Okay, so just I'm clicking on replace all. So successfully we can replace, we have replaced actually all the books instead of all with movie. Okay, so if I save this file and also just get rid of all these extra parameters actually the WordPress provides, this is tax domain. Okay, so we are not providing any tax domain for now. So if I remove that, so just get rid of all these extra parameters. So successfully we have removed all the extra parameters from this function. Okay, and now also we can remove from description as well. So we want to change, this is _x function to _. Okay, so just change that, __ function, it's __ and __. Okay, so all these things we have set up for now. Okay, so if I save this file, go to our browser, administrator panel, and just I am going to refresh this page. Now we can find about our custom post type with new settings called labels. Okay, as we can see that edit movie instead of edit post. Also if I click on all movies, this is movies, click on add new, and now add new movie instead of add new post. Okay, so if I go to all movies section, and as we can see that on the search box bar it is search movies. Okay, so if I click something like that, and now as we can see that search box is working as well, and also we have to change these labels like no books found. Okay, so if I go to our plugin, and now this is no books found, instead let's say no movies found. Okay, and also we have to remove, let's say no movies found. Okay, so if I save this file, refresh this page, and now as we can see that no movies found. Okay, if I just get rid of all these contents, search again, and this is our movie. So if I click on edit button, and now this is called edit movie. So all the labels of our default custom post tab actually we have changed with a proper message. Okay, so if I go to our editor, and now as we can see that several settings actually WordPress has provided, these are called the labels messages. Okay, and now what are the function actually our default custom post type, that is user defined custom post type supports. If I just scroll down, and now as we can see that this is the description section, and all the parameters you can actually study about all these parameters right from this documentation. If I go up, WordPress has provided well defined about the structure and the arguments parameters about in great detail. Okay, you can study about the label section as well from here. Okay, so now what actually parameters, what actually supports our movie custom post type supports. So basically inside this supports key we have passed some of the parameters inside this array called title, editor, author, thumbnail, excerpt, and the comments. These are called the supports for this movie custom post type. Okay, so if I go to administrator panel, and now we can see that this is the title section, this is the editor section, where actually we can provide some of the description for this movie. Okay, this is called the featured image, which is thumbnail. This is called excerpt, this is called the author and the discussions. Okay, so these all actually settings we have provided from our backend section. Okay, so if I suppose we remove like excerpt and comments, just reload this page, and now if I scroll down, then as we can see, it all actually has removed from this administrator panel also. Just back to editor, if suppose we remove called thumbnail, okay, just remove that, refresh this page, and now as we can see that the thumbnail image also has been gone. Okay, so basically guys, we can provide all the supports of our custom post type inside this supports key. Okay, so let's make IM undo all these things, thumbnail excerpt. Okay, so if I refresh again, so all the parameters actually we have now put. So successfully guys, by the help of this video session, we actually seen about the label section of our custom post type. And now if I go to editor, these are the things that you have to keep in your mind while creating any custom post type. That is, while registering any custom post type, we need to know that how can we actually provide the meaningful or proper messages to the user that convey a accurate message. Okay, about the movie section, label something called add new movie, edit movie, movie not found, search movie, something like that. Okay, so by the help of all these parameters, actually we actually defined all these parameters inside this labels variable. Okay, which is a type of array, and this labels variable actually we have passed right here. Okay, and now after binding all these parameters inside this argument, we have to pass this argument variable inside our register post type, which is taken as a second parameter. Okay, so while registering the movie type, the WordPress sets all these parameters actually we have set inside this variable to this post type. So successfully guys, we actually completed about the label section of our custom post type. Okay, so if you have any query in this video session guys, then please drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Hello guys, welcome to Online Web Tutor presented by Prophetic Solutions team. I am Sanjay. We are learning WordPress custom post type tutorial for beginners, and this is our part 3. In this video session guys, we will see that how can we register custom meta boxes for our custom post type. Okay, and also guys, if you are a beginner to this channel, then please don't forget to subscribe and keep watching our previous video sessions, that is part 1 and part 2, to understand about this playlist. So basically guys, in our previous video session, actually we have made a plugin called WP custom post type. By the help of this plugin, actually we have registered a custom post type called movie. Okay, and now in our part 2, we have set actually the labels section of our custom post type. Okay, so if I go to administrator panel, this is the movie sections that we have registered. Okay, so what we are going to this video session we are going to register a meta box to this custom post type that we have made. Okay, so and basically guys, we have made the complete playlist about WordPress metabox into different playlist. Okay, so if you haven't watched these video sessions guys, then I strongly suggest you to watch all these video sessions to get the clear vision about WordPress metabox tutorial. Okay, and now if you haven't watched these video sessions, then don't worry about that. We will use metabox to this custom post type from scratch. So basically, to register a custom meta box inside our custom post type or any of the WordPress default post types, we need a function called add meta box. This is the function responsible to register our meta boxes to any of the post type. And now one more thing, that after using this function, we need to hook this function actually inside our action hook called add meta boxes. Okay, so first of all, just go to editor. Now scroll down. Let's define a function called function WPL OWT register, let's say CPT register meta box. Okay, next we need to hook this function inside action hook called add action and action hook called add meta boxes. And now in the second parameter, we need to pass the callback function that we have defined. So inside this function that we have made, we need to use called add meta box. So just make copy of that, go to editor and paste inside this function. Okay, so step by step we need to pass all the parameters actually there are defined. Okay, and about the parameters you can study from this documentation. Okay, So just back to editor, and let's say that first parameter we need to pass inside this add meta box called id. Okay, so let's say that cpt id, this is the id that we have defined. Okay, next we need to define called the title. So let's say owt custom post type, or let's say just get rid of that, we need to register a meta box for this movie section. So let's say that producer detail. Okay, let's say producer details. Inside this producer details we will pass some of the basic informations like name and the email. Okay, so in the third parameter we need to call the callback function. Okay, so let's say wpl owt cpt, and this is producer call. Okay, in the next parameter we need to define that is screen. At what screen actually we want to appear this meta box. We want to make this meta box to our custom post type, that is movie. Okay, so just back to editor, this is the post type that we have registered movie. So just copy this name and paste right here. Okay, so just I am removing extra parameter. So this is the movie actually we want that this meta box should appear. Okay, in the next parameter we need to pass called the context. Context means at what position actually we want to appear. Okay, so if I back to administrator panel, if I click on add new, we want that we should appear that meta box either its normal position, default position, or at the side position. Okay, so let's pass at the side position. We want that meta box should appear at the side position. Okay, so let's go that and let's pass side, and in the side position next parameter we need to pass called the priority of this context. What will be the priority? If we pass high, then instead of this publish, our custom meta box should appear. Okay, so let's say high. So if I this copy this callback function, and let's define called function. This is the callback function responsible to make the layout of this custom meta box. Okay, so if I save this, go to administrator panel, just refresh that page, and now as we can see that producer detail, this is the custom meta box that we have registered for our custom post type. Let's make some of the layout for this producer details custom meta box. Okay, so just back to editor, and inside this callback function we need to fix a layout for that. So let's say that paragraph, inside this paragraph let's say label, and let's say name. Okay, it will be our input type text. Let's say input type text. Name should be something called txt producer name. Placeholder call something called name. Okay, so this is the actually layout that we have fixed. And also guys, if you have watched about this video session, then you can actually see inside this playlist that we actually used a nonce value while making call of this callback function. Okay, so we are not going to actually use that nonce value again in this video session. Okay, so if I save this, go to administrator panel, refresh this page, and this is the layout. As we can see that we have made our input type text of name inside this producer details. Okay, and also let's make some of the parameters again called email. Just make a copy of that, paste here, and let's say email. Okay, it should be input type email, and let's set producer email. So if I save this, refresh this page, and now as we can see we actually made two different input type fields inside this producer details custom meta box. Okay, so what actually we are going to do next? After clicking on publish button, we need to save all these details corresponding to this movie section. Okay, so just back to editor, we want to save this all input type values to our DB. To save values from custom meta box, we need to use another action hook called save post. Okay, so let's define first add action. Inside this add action called save post, this is the action hook that we have to pass. And now in the next function we need to pass the callback actually defined to save this input values. Okay, so let's say wpl owt, this is custom post type, and save values. Okay, so just make copy of that, and let's define function. This function will take some of the parameters from us. That is, first it is the priority of execution. In the next parameter, how many of arguments we are going to pass inside this function. So let's define number 2. This 2 indicates that we are going to pass 2 parameters inside this function. That is, first parameter called post id, that is post ID. Okay, in the next parameter we are going to pass called post. Okay, so these are the parameters that we have passed inside this function. So basically we have written 2 here. Okay, so let's say that inside this callback function we are going to now save all these values actually we will get from this meta boxes. Okay, so just make copy of this name section and let's say that txt production name, if it is set, let's say post. If it is set, then actually let's say that this is the value inside this post variable. And also for the email section, again I'm copying this line, let's say producer email, this is email, and now here are all these things. Okay, so we are going to save all these values to our post meta table according to this post. Okay, so just copy this and let's say that update post meta. Update post meta is a function, guys, which basically save any of the post details into our WP post meta table. Okay, so inside this function we need to pass over the parameters. First parameter, it will take the post ID. Second parameter, it will take the key. Okay, so let's say that producer name. Okay, inside this producer name key, let's say WPL underscore producer name. So producer name key basically contains this value, so just make copy of that and paste here. Okay, in the next step we need to update post meta with the email section as well. Okay, so let's say email, and this will contain the value of this email. Okay, so just paste it here. So if I save this file, go to browser, and now if I refresh this page, after refreshing, let's pass some of the parameters called movie2. This is the title, and let's pass called test name as the name of producer, and let's say test@gmail.com. This is the email section that we have passed according to these values. Okay, just click on publish button. After publish button, if you go to our database, click on post meta, just click on post meta. Let's make it descending order. And now as we can see, guys, these are the informations that we have saved: WPL producer name, WPL producer email. Okay, so these are the informations that we have saved from these values. Okay, so just back to edit browser, and now we have to actually render those values inside these boxes also. Okay, so how can we do that? Just back to editor, and let's say that we want to retrieve all the saved values. Okay, so inside this function, let's pass a parameter called post. Okay, so just make copy of this post, and let's say that within this PHP script, let's say that name equal to get post meta. This is the WordPress function, guys, which basically takes ID and the key value. Okay, so what actually key we have registered for the name section? So name section we have used WPL producer name, so just make copy of that and let's pass here. And for the single value we need to pass called the true. Okay, so get post meta function return the key value according to this post ID. Okay, so if I copy this name and let's pass inside this value, so let's echo, and this is the name. So if I save, refresh this page, and this is the name that we have saved according to this post ID, that is 23. Okay, again for the email section, just make copy of this line, paste here, and let's say that this is instead of name, it's email. Okay, and the key value that we have used for the email section, that is WPL producer email, so just make copy of that and paste here. Only we have to assign this value inside this value attribute. Okay, so let's say that value, so echo and the email section. Okay, so successfully, guys, actually if we refresh to our administrator panel, then we can see that all these two values now here. Okay, if I click on add new again, and let's say that movie 3, let's pass called test name 2, test email, it's 2. If I save this file, and now if I refresh, then as we can see all the details actually rendered according to post type. Okay, this is the post ID 24. So these are all informations regarding 24 ID. If I click on all movies, if I click on edit or movie 2, these are all informations regarding this is movie 2. Okay, so successfully guys, by this help of video session, we actually learned about the custom meta boxes with our custom post type. Okay, so according to summary point of view, what actually points we have to remember about the custom meta box registration? First of all, we have to use called add meta box function to register our custom meta box. Okay, and now after making this call, after making this WordPress function call, we need to hook this function inside this callback, inside this action hook, that is add meta boxes. Okay, next parameter we need to set the layout. So inside this add meta box function, we have passed a callback function. Inside this callback function, we actually register or set or the layout section for that. Okay, to save all the values of all these custom meta boxes, we want to use, or we have to use, called the save post action hook. Save post basically takes some of the parameters. According to that, we need to pass. Okay, so inside this callback function, we actually saved our database values. Okay, now if while rendering these values, which we use called get post meta. Get post meta takes some of the parameters called post ID, key name, and for the single value we need to pass the true. Okay, so guys, I think that by the help of this video session, I have made much more clear concept about the registration of metabox for our custom post type. And also guys, if you are interested to get the complete details of our custom metabox, then just go to this playlist, watch all those video sessions from this playlist. Here we have details about the complete section of metabox tutorial. Okay, so in this video session guys, if you have any doubt, then please drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Hello guys, welcome to online web tutor presented by Prophetic Solutions team. I am Sanjay. We are learning WordPress custom post type tutorial for beginners, and this is our part 4. In this video session guys, we will see that how can we register our custom column to custom post type. Okay, and for our previous code guys, you can just visit to this GitHub repository to download our previous code. Okay, so far what we did, this is our GitHub link. Okay, so now if I click on this file, this is the file that we have made in our previous video sessions. So these are the codes guys that actually we have written in our previous video. Okay, and also guys, if you are a beginner to this channel, then please don't forget to subscribe and keep watching our previous video sessions of custom post type tutorial to get the clear vision about this playlist. And also, if you haven't watched our previous video session guys, just go to YouTube, and now inside this playlist called WordPress custom post type tutorial, you can find our previous concepts. Just back to editor, and now this is the main plugin file guys that we have developed to develop our custom post type concept. Okay, so in this video session guys, we will use our action hook to add our custom columns. So basically what we will do inside this video session, so just go to administrator panel, and now this is the movie section that we have registered in our part 3. Okay, and now if I click on suppose edit, we have made a meta box called producer details, where we have filled about the name and the email details. Okay, we want that the name and the email section should appear at this data table section. Right now this data table has a checkbox, a title, author, comment, and the date section. So how can we add our custom column to this table? Means we want to add the producer name and the producer email to this data table. Okay, so how can we achieve that? Just go to slides, and now for that guys, we are going to use this action hook called manage post type, and this is post columns. Okay, so just back to editor. First of all, let's copy this action hook, go to editor, and now let's define an action hook called add action. Inside this add action hook, just paste it here. So, and in the second parameter we need to pass the callback function. So let's say WPL OWT custom post type, and let's say custom columns. Okay, so inside this placeholder post type, what we have to do here, so just scroll up, and remember once actually we have registered the movie section. This is the custom post type movie that we have registered by the help of function called register post type. So this is the first parameter that we have passed, is called the post type. Okay, so just make copy this post type name, scroll down and paste inside here. Okay, so just I'm going to paste it here. Next we have to define this callback function. So just make a copy of that and let's say function. This is the callback function that we have defined for our add custom column action hook. Okay, so now in this function guys, we have to pass a parameter called columns. Okay, and basically we need to return this column at the last end of this function called return columns. Okay, so what basically this column contains, this column section is guys is a variable type. This is of type array. Okay, so basically if you go to administrator panel and this is the data table, we are going to add our custom columns. First we need to inspect that. After inspecting guys, we can see that actually the th columns, if we just close it here, and now the th column, just see the id of that called cb. This is for the checkbox. Okay, if I zoom that, so this is the id of the first column, that is cb, means checkbox. Second column has the id called title. Just scroll down. Third column has the id called author. Fourth column has the id called comments and date. So finally these are the ids of the corresponding columns in this data table. Okay, so we want to make our custom column. Okay, so how can we achieve that? So just go to editor and let's say that columns, it's an array type, so array. So basically inside this array we need to actually fix all the columns we want to this movie post type. Okay, so let's say that first we need to pass called the checkbox section. Inside this checkbox section it will contain, let's say that input type, and it should be checkbox. Okay, so if I just save this file, go to browser, reload this page, so as we can see that this table now contains only the checkbox section. Why? Because we have actually redefined the column section by the help of our post type called manage post type post columns. Okay, so we have redefined that columns. If I comment this action hook, just comment out and just refresh this page. So why we have passed the call cb here? This is the id. This is the id that we have retrieved right from here. Okay, so if you go to the checkbox section, this is the id. So if we want to appear the title section in this data table, we need to use the title. So just make a copy of that, go to editor and just let's say title. Okay, and let's say that this is called the movie title. This is the custom label name that we have assigned to this id. Okay, so if I just save this file, refresh this page, and now we have a checkbox and we have a movie title. Okay, so also we want to add a date section as well as publisher name and the publisher email. Okay, so just back to editor and let's say that here is called pub email, which is publisher email. Okay, so let's say that publisher email. Okay, next we have to add called the pub name. Okay, so let's say pub name, and this is publisher name. Okay, and finally we want the date section. Okay, so let's say that date. Okay, so if we save this file, go to browser and just reload this page, and now we can see that we have added successfully two custom columns, that is publisher email and the publisher name with the date section. So if we inspect these columns, just I'm clicking on inspect, and now as we can see that the thing that we have passed right here is became our id of that column. Okay, so if you think that this is the pub email and the pub name, so just back to browser, and now we can see that this is the id called pub email and the pub name. So basically the key we have passed inside our array is converted in our id section. Okay, but checkbox, title and the date section are the predefined columns of WordPress. So successfully guys, we have learned that how can we add our custom columns to custom post type. Okay, so in our next video session guys, we will see that how can we render data. We want to render data inside this publisher email, where actually we want the publisher email that we have filled regarding this movie, and also we want the publisher name according to this movie. Okay, so this we will see in our next video session guys. So if you have any query in this video session guys, then please drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Hello guys, welcome to Online Web Tutor presented by Prophetic Solutions team. I am Sanjay. We are learning WordPress custom post type tutorial for beginners, and this is our part 5. In this video session guys, we will discuss that how can we render data to our custom columns that we have added in our previous video session with custom post type movie. So inside this video session guys, we will use the action hook called manage post type post custom column. Okay, and also guys, if you are a beginner to this channel, then please don't forget to subscribe and keep watching our previous video sessions of custom post type tutorial to get the clear vision about this playlist. If you have started this playlist from this video session guys, then I strongly suggest you to go to YouTube, and now inside this playlist you can find all the videos, and for the code section you can just visit to GitHub repository to download our previous code. So just back to editor, and now this is the code section guys that we have did so far with the custom post type plugin that we have made. Okay, so what actually we are going to do inside this video session, basically if I go to movies, this is the custom post type that we have registered, and now in our previous video session, that is in part 4, we have registered two custom columns, that is publisher email and the publisher name. So we want that according to these movies, correspondingly we need to show the publisher email and the publisher name also. Just back to editor, and now first of all we have to copy this action hook that we are going to use. Okay, so just I'm going to copy, back to editor, scroll down, and let's say that add action. Inside this add action function, just I'm going to paste it, and this is the post type. If you have remembered guys, then this is the post type that we have registered, and now inside this register post type, this is called the post type. Okay, so I'm just copy this name movie, and now inside this post type I'm going to replace that. Okay, so second function we need to pass a callback function. So WPL OWT custom post type, and let's say that custom columns data. Next we have to define this function. Okay, so let's say that function, and this is the function that we have to define. So basically guys, this function will take two parameters. Okay, so before declaring those variables inside this function, we need to tell this action hook that this function will take two parameters. So this is the parameter that is the priority execution, and number 2 indicates that we are going to pass two variables inside this callback function. Okay, so just I'm going to pass the two parameters, first that is column, okay, and the second that is called post ID. Okay, so now how can we use, or how can we assign the values to these columns that we have made? So first of all we have to make a switch case inside this callback function. Okay, inside this switch case we need to pass the column. Okay, so just pass that, and now inside this switch case we need to check that this column is actually, let's say that case, and this column is actually pub email. If the column is pub email, means by getting the pub email as the column name, what we have to do right now, so now we need to find, or we need to retrieve the value of pub email from our database table, that is post meta. That if you have remember guys, then we actually saved the called WPL producer email. This is the key that we have used to save the email of our producer to WP post meta table by using called math function called update post meta. Okay, so if you go to editor, and now if you scroll up, so this is the WP update post meta function we have used to insert our details. Okay, and this is the key that we have used called WPL producer email. So we want to retrieve this value after getting the column as pub email. Okay, so let's say that publisher email equal to get post meta, and now inside this get post meta function, this is a WordPress function, basically retrieves a value of that key actually we are going to pass inside this function. Okay, first parameter it will take the post ID, second the key name, this is the key name to retrieve the email section, and now the third parameter that is the true value, because we are retrieving, we want to retrieve the single value. Okay, and now just break this case, let's say break. Okay, let's echo this publisher email before the break section. Okay, so let's say echo and the publisher email. Okay, so if we save this file, if I save this file, just back to browser and reload this page. Now as we can see that inside this publisher email section we have now data, okay, that is this email is regarding of this publisher email. So if I click on edit icon, and now as we can see that this is taste2@gmail.com. So successfully we have retrieved the corresponding publisher email of that movie. This is the movie that we have made, which does not contains any value of publisher email as the publisher name. Okay, so if I click on edit icon and let's pass on the value like Sanjay Kumar, and let's say sanjay@gmail.com. This is the email that we have passed. Just I'm clicking to update. Successfully after updating, if I back to all movies, so this is the email section that we have actually passed with this movie. Okay, so now what we have to do next, we have to retrieve the publisher name as well. Okay, so just back to editor and let's say that if case is something called pub name, the key that we have assigned with the column pub name. Okay, so just make copy this pub name back here and let's say that after getting pub name, finally break to that, let's say that echo this is pub name. Okay, so if I save this file, back to browser and reload this page, so these are the messages that we successfully got inside this publisher in name. Okay, so now if I go to post meta table, this is the email, this is the key that we have to use to retrieve the producer name as well. Okay, so just back to editor and now instead of this message, let's say publisher name equal to get post meta. Inside this get post meta function we need to pass the post id and the second that the key that is wpl producer name and the finally the true value. And now just copy this variable name and let's say echo. Okay, so if I save this, just back to browser, reload this administrator panel, and successfully we are actually getting the publisher name as well. Okay, so now the main concern of this video session is guys that how can we render data to our custom columns we have completed. So just back to editor, once we are going to review all the things that we have studied so far. Okay, how can we actually get the data to our custom columns? First we have made our columns here by using the action hook called manage. This is the post type and post columns. Here we have made inside this columns array as the key value pair. These key are the IDs of these columns. Okay, so by the help of these IDs actually we are going to assign some value by action hook called manage post type, that is post columns custom columns. Okay, so by the help of those ID, by getting called publisher email and the publisher name, we have rendered those datas. Okay, so successfully guys, I think that we have discussed about the rendering data to our custom columns of our custom post types. So I hope that you understood as well and you can implement in your project. Okay, so in this video session guys, if you have any query then please drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Hello guys, welcome to online web tutorial presented by Profotic Solutions team. I am Sanjay. We are learning WordPress custom post type tutorial for beginners and this is our part 6. In this video session guys, we will see that how can we implement sorting functionality to our columns. And also guys, if you are a beginner to this channel then please don't forget to subscribe and keep watching our previous video sessions of WordPress custom post type tutorial to get the clear concept about part number 6. If guys this is your first video session, I strongly suggest you to go to YouTube. Now inside this playlist called WordPress custom post type tutorial you can find all the previous video sessions. Okay, and for the code section just go to the GitHub repository called owthub/wpowt custom post type. This is the page that we have made so far. Okay, and now if you go to administrator panel, this is the movie section actually currently we are working on. Several things we did inside this plugin. This is the custom post type that we have registered by the help of this plugin, and this plugin I have opened in that editor. So now what we are going to do inside this video session, basically if I go to admin, now we want that as you can see that movie title is now showing a sorting button. This means if I click on that it will automatically get sorted as you can see. If I clicking on date, it get automatically sorted. Okay, so we want that how can we implement that sorting conditions, that sorting functions to our custom column also. Basically these are the custom columns that we have made by the help of WordPress custom meta box. Okay, so basically guys, to implement the functionality of sorting to our custom columns or any of the column of our custom post type, so we need to use this filter hook, that is manage edit post type sortable column. Okay, after adding these filter hooks guys, we can actually make the functionality of sorting to these columns. If I just remove this URL, refresh that page, now if I click on movie title, as you can see on the URL section, just I'm clicking on that. First time if I click that, it is order by title and order, that is ascending order, means we have clicked the title section and the order is something called ascending order. If I again click on that, now order by is title and the order is something called descending. So by clicking on this icon we can actually make the ascending order or descending order. So we want this functionality to our custom columns also. Okay, so just back to editor. And now let's define a filter hook. Okay, so let's say that add filter, and now inside this filter hook just we need to copy this filter hook. Okay, I'm going to copy and now paste inside the first parameter of this function, and basically we need to pass here the custom post type name. So basically if you have remembered that for the movie we have registered by the name of movie. Okay, so if I copy that and paste within here, okay, so successfully we have removed the placeholder of post type. Okay, so this is the complete filter hook, that is manage edit movie sortable columns. And now inside this parameter, second parameter, we need to pass the callback function. So let's say that OWPL OWT CPT sortable columns. Okay, so just I'm going to copy this function name and now we have to define this function. Okay, so function, this is the function. Inside this function guys, we need to pass a parameter called columns. Okay, and finally after implementing our conditions, our functions, we need to return this variable, that is columns. Okay, so now everything is set now. So just we need to pass some of the column names actually we want to make the sortable. For example, we know that we have made movie title, publisher email, publisher name and the date section. These are the columns that we have actually implemented to our data table, as you can see. So what column actually we want to make sortable? We want that publisher email and the publisher name should be sortable. Okay, so just I'm going to copy this key called pub email, just scroll down and let's say that columns. Now it is an array, just we need to pass inside this key the column name, that is column ID, that is pub email. Okay, and now we have to assign the value called pub email again. Okay, so this is the value that we have stored inside this key, and finally we have to remove or return this column section at the end. Okay, so also next we want, what we want to do, we want to also to make the pub name also. Okay, so let's say column, and the ID of that column is something called pub name. This is the pub name that we have assigned publisher name. Okay, this is the key, so just make copy of that and paste inside this square bracket. Okay, and now finally we need to bind this value. So successfully guys, we have actually passed these two values we want to be sortable inside this key. Okay, and now these key are the column names. Okay, so if I save this file, go to browser, just reload this page. Once we reload, as we can see that the color is now converted into blue color, and now it has also sort icons, as we can see. So if I just copy this URL, go to slides, open a new tab, and this is the current title actually we are currently running, that is post type movie, order by title. Okay, currently we have sorted our data by the help of title section. Okay, so we want that we are going to filter this result by the help of this publisher name and the publisher email. Okay, so if I just am clicking on that, after clicking, if I copy this URL again, go to editor, and let's say that this is the URL after implementing the sorting condition to our pub email. Okay, so this is the URL that we got, order by, this is pub email actually we have passed inside this key. Okay, this is the pub email which actually has we got, and order, ascending order. Okay, again I'm clicking on that, and now the order has been changed to descending order. Okay, so it's working fine. Again I'm going to publisher name, so just I'm going to click on that, and now as we can see that result has been filtered also. Okay, and now order by, that is pub name. Okay, so basically guys, after clicking on that, we can make our sortable columns either ascending or descending order. If suppose we want to change the name here called order by, because basically this is the key that we have to pass as the mandatory condition, because these are the square brackets keys are the column IDs. Okay, here we can change that something, let's say that OWT email. Okay, and let's say that OWT name. Okay, so if I save that, go to browser, reload this page, and now if I click on email section, as we can see that the post type movie and order by, that is OWT email. Okay, so basically this is OWT email, so anything key we can pass inside this values. Okay, but remember these are the important keys that we have to pass, because these are the column IDs. So successfully guys, by the help of this video session, we understood that how can we make our sortable columns for our custom post type. Okay, so just remember these things, that first we need to add our filter hook, that is manage edit, this is post type and the movie sortable columns. Okay, and next this is the callback function that we have to define to make our sortable functions. Okay, inside this function, first parameter you need to pass columns. Okay, and finally you need to return that column, and inside this columns array, basically it is an array because we have to pass some of the keys inside this column. Okay, so these are the keys that we have assigned with the column name. Okay, corresponding column name, so these are the keys, and now this is the another string values which basically appears at the URL section. So successfully guys, we had completed our main concern of this video session. So if you have any doubt in this video session guys, then please drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Hello guys, welcome to Online Web Tutor presented by Prophetic Solutions team. I am Sanjay. We are learning WordPress custom post type tutorial for beginners, and this is our part 7. In this video session guys, we will use and add a author meta box to our movie custom post type. And also guys, if you are a beginner to this channel, then please don't forget to subscribe and keep watching our previous video sessions to get the clear concept about WordPress custom post type tutorial. If guys you have started, this is your first video session, then I strongly suggest you to go to YouTube. And now inside Online Web Tutor you will find a playlist called WordPress Custom Post Type Tutorial, where we have uploaded all 6 previous video sessions, and for the code section you just visit this GitHub repository. Okay, where actually I have put this link. By getting this link you can download our previous existing code. Okay, so basically what we are going to do in this video session, so far we have made a custom post type known as movies. In our previous video sessions we had made our custom columns, also we have added our custom meta box, that is with publisher details. Okay, producer details. So in this video session guys, we will add another meta box called author name, and basically that author name actually contains all the users we have actually entered inside this user section. Okay, so just go to user section. First of all we have to create some of the users related with the user role called author. Okay, so just I'm clicking on add new, and let's say that author1 at gmail.com. let's say author1. This is the first author that we have created, is scroll down. Just I'm going to select author from this drop down list. So just I'm selecting author, click on add new user, and successfully we have created our first author as a user. Okay, I'm clicking on again. Now I'm going to add some of the authors again. Let's say author2. Email should be author2 at gmail.com. let's say author2. Just I will uncheck that, click on the user role as author, click on add new user. So successfully we have registered 2 of the authors. Again I'm clicking on add new. Let us add one more user. So let's say author3. let's say author3 at gmail.com. author3, uncheck that, clicking on author section and add new user. So successfully we have registered 3 of the users of the user role called author. So we want to populate all these users that we have created inside our movies section, clicking on add new. So we want all the users actually appear inside the meta box that we will make. Okay, so just back to editor. So this is the plugin guys that we have made inside this whole video series. Okay, basically this is a custom post type that we have made. While activating this plugin actually creates a custom post type movies. Okay, and some settings that we did, it will implement on this post type. Okay, so just back to editor, let's make a custom meta box for our author section. Okay, so basically if you have remembered, then in the previous video session we have actually added a meta box. Okay, so just I'm copying this code, let's make enter, and now I'm going to change these details. So let's say custom post type author. Okay, this is not the producer details, this is, let's say, choose author. Okay, so just I'm going to change the callback function to, let's say, cpt, it's author call. We want on this screen side should be at the side and the high position. Okay, so just I'm going to define this callback function. So just make copy of that, and let's say that function, this is the callback function actually we have called on that meta box. So if we save this file, go to browser, just I'm going to reload this page. So this is the choose author section that we have added inside this meta box. So right now there is no layout section for this. Okay, so just go to editor, inside this callback function we are going to define the layout of that. So let's say that PHP div, inside this div we want to make a drop down list. Okay, so inside this div let's say select, or basically instead of select, first we are going to define the label section. Okay, so this label section says that select user or select author. Just make some formatting to that, and this is the label section that we have added. Next we have to add our drop down list. For that we need to use select statement of HTML. Okay, inside this select statement we want to make the option. Okay, so let's say author1 as a static value, just for sake of change or check, 2 3. Okay, so just save this file, go to browser, reload this page, and now this is the drop down list that we have added inside this choose author layout. Okay, so we want that this data is actually populate dynamically what we have added inside this user section. Okay, so just back to editor. First of all we want to retrieve all the users that we have created with the user role called author. Okay, so let's see that, just go inside the select, and let's say users equal to get users is a WordPress function which basically on passing a parameter it will give the information regarding that. Okay, so basically inside this array we are going to pass the user role. So basically we want to retrieve the users of user role called author. So by taking this as a parameter, get users function will return all the users actually has a user role called author. Okay, so just make copy of that. Let's make the use of called for each. Inside this for each we want to retrieve all the informations from these users individually. Okay, so let's say users as index, and let's say user. Okay, so just I'm going to copy this option, remove all these options inside this for each. So just copy this user, and let's say print out to check all the keys values of this users variable. So if I save this file, go to browser, reload this page, and now if I click on author1 author, it is 3 times because we have created 3 users if you have remembered. Okay, so if we inspect that, let's click on inspect, just goes to console, let's make zoom that, so here as we can see that a number of parameters returned by the get users function. Okay, so individually we have iterated over this user variable. So basically it will contain the informations about the individual users like id2, which basically contains all the informations related with the author1. Okay, so if I scroll down, these are the informations contained for author2. Okay, again I scroll down, these are the informations contained for the author3. So basically we have 3 different users. Okay, so basically we want that, just make copy of that, get rid of that first, and let's make use of called PHP echo. This is the user variable, it has an object variable known as display name. Okay, and also inside this option we want to fix the value with the ID of that user. Okay, so let's say that echo user, and this is the user ID of that user. Okay, so if I save this file, go to browser, reload this page, click on this drop down list, and now we have 3 different users of corresponding IDs. Okay, so in the next step what we have to do, we have to save this author with this movie detail. Means when we create any movie from this form, then we want that to save the author name as well. Okay, so just back to editor. So basically what we have to do, first we have to assign a name section, name attribute to this select. So let's say drop down author. Okay, and also it will accept a parameter that is post. Okay, so just scroll down, we are going to use our action hook called add action. This is the save post as the action hook. Basically it will save the information regarding this author. Okay, so it has some parameters. Second parameter is the callback function. So let's say WPL OWT, let's say save author movie. Okay, and some of the parameters it will receive from us, that is, this is the priority execution, and the second, this is the number of parameters that we are going to pass inside this callback function. So just make copy of this callback function. Let's define that function. We have to pass the 2 parameters inside this function. The first parameter, that is post ID, and the second parameter is the post. Okay, so inside this callback function guys, we want to retrieve the user information when the user selects with that movie, and we have to save this author inside our database table. So if I copy this dd author, first of all we have to check that if this value is set or not. So let's say author ID. Basically dd author contains the author ID, so if it is set, just make copy this request variable, and let's say if it is set, then we want to retrieve the integer value from that, and if not, it will return an empty value. Okay, so next step, after getting the author ID, we have to save this detail to our database table. So basically to save this detail we are going to use called update user meta. So let's say update, sorry, it's not update user meta, it's post meta, because we are going to save this detail with the post type movie. Okay, so update post meta. And now inside this update post meta, the first parameter it will take called the post ID. Second parameter it will take the key name. So let's say that dd author, or let's say author ID movie. In the next parameter we have to pass the value. So basically this is the value, so just make copy of that and paste right here. So we have done all now. We have actually made the layout section as well. After clicking on publish button, we are retrieving that details and saving with update user meta. Okay, so if I save this file, go to browser, just reload this page, and let's add some of the movie. Let's say sample movie has one. So let's say that this is our test movie. Test movie name, let's say test movie at gmail.com. Just select author 2, just click on publish button, so just click on that. After clicking, it will save a new key inside our post meta table. So just back to database now and click on wp post meta. If I click on descending order, so this is the key that we have saved, that is author ID movie. Basically it has saved the 3 because we have selected the author 3 from here, but right now it is not actually appearing as selected. Okay, so for making a selection, just go to editor, go at the callback function, and now inside this callback function we want that those values actually selected. Okay, so for that let's define a variable called selected. In starting it will blank. Okay, so let me check that if, first of all we have to get the save user ID. So let's say saved author ID get user meta. It's not get user, it's get post meta. Okay, basically by the help of this post meta we actually retrieve the post key with that value. Okay, it will take some of the parameters. First of all it will take the ID. So by passing this post variable inside this function, we can retrieve the id from that. And now in the second parameter we need to pass the key name. So we have used the key that is author id movie. So just make copy of this id, and now inside this we have to pass, and the third we have to pass the true value for the single value. So if the saved author id is equal to let's say user arrow and the id. So if the selected user is related with this id, then now inside this variable we have to set some of the values, and that value will be let's say selected equal to let's say selected. So just make copy of this variable, and inside this option we have to pass, so let's say php echo and now selected. So just back to browser, reload this page, and now as we can see that author 2 has been selected. Okay, so if I click on add new, let's add another movie, let's say sample movie, it's 5. This is again as a sample movie. Let's select author 3. Okay, just I'm clicking on that. Successfully we have created a new movie with these details, and now author 3 has by default selected. This is why, because we have put all the necessary codes right here. So now here comes the discussion. What is the purpose of this drop down or meta box that we have created so far? So the basic mean is that in the next video session guys, we are going to create a filter. Means if we go to the movie list, we want to add a filter here. Okay, and now inside that filter actually we want to populate all the users of the user role called author. So after selecting any author, means like author 1, author 2, or any author like author 3, if I click on author 3, click on this filter button, then now the movies created with the author 3 user will be populated inside this data table. Means we are going to create a filter box. So in the next video session guys, we will make a drop down to this filter list. Okay, so if you have any query in this video session guys, then just drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Hello guys, welcome to online web tutor presented by Proof Solutions team. I am Sanjay. We are learning WordPress custom post type tutorial for beginners, and this is our part 8. In this video session guys, we will discuss about adding author filter box to movie custom post type. And also guys, in this video session we will discuss about the action hook called restrict manage post. And also if you are a beginner to this channel guys, then please don't forget to subscribe and keep watching our previous video sessions of custom post type tutorial to get the clear concept about part number 8. For the code section guys, you can download our existing code from this GitHub repository. And also if you have started, this is your first video session, then just go to YouTube. Inside the playlist called WordPress custom post type tutorial, you will get all the previous video sessions. Okay, so inside this video session guys, we want to make, just I'm going to click on this custom post type. We are going to add a drop down of authors right here. Okay, so for that we are using called the action hook called restrict manage post. Okay, so just back to editor. This is the code guys that we have developed so far to make our custom post type plugin. For this code section, if you go to GitHub of OWT Hub, you will find a repository called WP-OWT custom post type. Here you can find all the codes. Okay, so just back to editor. First of all, we have to make the filter box right here. Why we are making to filter all the movies related with that author, because suppose we have created some of the movies with the author like author 2, some of the movies we have created with the author 3, some of the movies of any author as the username. Okay, so by making the filter box inside our all movies, we can filter our movies from this list just by selecting the author name. Okay, so just back to editor. So first of all, we have to make the layout section for that. So for the layout section, we are going to use the action hook called restrict manage post. So if I'm going to copy this, let's add action. This is the action hook, and the second parameter we need to define the callback function. So let's say WPL OWT author, let's say filter box layout. Okay, so in the next step we need to define this callback function. So let's say function, this is the function name, and inside this callback function we need to make the drop down list. okay, drop down list of all the authors that we have created. Before making the drop down list of authors, we have to check that the post type should be movie. Okay, so how can we check that the post type is movie? So just back to editor, we are going to use a global variable called global type now. This is the global variable actually WordPress provides. By the help of type now, we can actually execute or check the which custom post type is running. So if I can just make copy, echo type now. So let's say echo type now. If I save this file, just back to browser, reload this page, and now as we can see that this post type has the type equal to movie. Okay, if I go again to put the post section, as we can see that this is the post. If I go to pages, this is the type of page. Okay, so we want to execute that drop down list only if we get the movie section, if movie. Okay, so just make copy of that. First we have to check that the type now should be of movie. So let's say type now equal to movie. By getting the type name equal to movie, we want to make the drop down list of authors. Okay, so to make the drop down list of authors, guys, we will use a function of WordPress called WP dropdown users. So basically, by passing the user role inside this function, it will populate all the information related with that user. Okay, so just make copy of this function name. So WP dropdown users, just go to editor and let's say WP dropdown users. Inside this WP dropdown users, we have to pass some of the parameters inside that. So what will be those parameters? These are the parameters actually the WordPress codex.wordpress.org developers website provides all the information related with those parameters. Okay, so first of all we have to pass, not necessarily we can pass all these parameters. These all parameters are optional. Okay, so according to our use we can pass each of the parameters. Okay, so just I'm copying to show option name. Let's say array. Inside this array, the first parameter I will pass called show option none. So basically, show option none means if the user has no default label, then in that condition, what actually the value of label should be. Okay, so let's make some option none. So let's say select author. Okay, so if I save this file, go to browser, reload this movie section, and now as we can see that select author. So basically select author is the show option none. This is the default value of this drop down. Okay, so right now it is populating all the authors that we have created, but we want that only authors as the user role should appear inside this drop down. Okay, so to restrict about the user role, just go to the parameters detail. Inside these details we can see about the role section. So I'm just copying that. Let's say role. Inside this role we have to pass called author because we want to pass as the author as the user role. So just save this file, back to browser, reload this page, and now if I click on that, as we can see all the users actually of the user role as author are populating. Okay, so in the next step what we are going to do, if I clicking on any of the author 1, if I clicking on filter section, so now we want that this author ID actually should appear inside this URL. So by getting author ID, if I just click on inspect, we can see that author 1, author 2 and the author 3 has corresponding their IDs. So by getting this ID on the URL section, we can actually access all the movies details according to that ID. Okay, so we want to pass this value to this URL also. So for that we have to pass a parameter called name. Okay, so just make copy of this name, go to editor and let's pass name equal to filter by author. According to your need, you can pass any of the name section from here. Okay, in the next parameter we are going to pass the drop down ID. So let's say that dd filter author ID. This is according to your naming convention. Okay, so if I save this file, just back to browser, reload this page, I am selecting author 2. If I click on filter, So now as we can see in the URL section, this is the key that we have passed called filter by author. It has a value called 3. So by getting this 3 value, we can actually filter out all the movies created by with this author ID. So successfully guys, we have integrated our drop down list or a filter box of author section to our custom post type. Okay, so in the next video session guys, we will make the query according to this filter by author, and we will populate all the movies related informations according to this author ID. Okay, so just I'm going to commit this code to the GitHub repository, and now if you have any query in this video session guys, then just drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Hello guys, welcome to online web tutor presented by Performance Solutions team. I am Sanjay. We are learning WordPress custom post type tutorial for beginners, and this is our part 9. In this video session guys, we will implement our filter movies by author, and now inside this video session guys, we will use a parse query filter hook. And also if you are a beginner to this channel guys, then please don't forget to subscribe and keep watching our previous video sessions of this playlist to get the clear concept about part number 9. So basically guys, in our previous video sessions, just go to browser. This is the movies that we have registered so far. So if I click that, this is the drop down list we have added in our previous video session. Okay, so what we are going to do inside this video, if I click on any of the author, I am clicking on filter. So by the help of this filter by author ID, we are getting inside this URL as the query string parameter. By getting this query string parameter, we can actually filter out all these movies related with this author. So just back to editor. So this is the plugin guys that we have registered so far. So in our previous video session, this is the drop down list of all the authors we have populated inside our filter box. Okay, so in this video session guys, we are going to use our add filter. Let's say add filter. Inside this add filter, we are going to use called parse query. Now we need to attach a callback function. So let's say WPL OWT, let's say filter by author. Okay, so just I'm going to define this callback function. First of all, just copy that. Let's say function. This is the function name. Inside this callback function guys, we have to pass a parameter called query. Okay, so right now just go to inside this callback function. We are going to write our parse query section. By the help of this callback function guys, we will filter all the movies related with the key called filter by author. If you have remembered, then in our previous video session, this is the key that we have passed inside this query string parameter. So by getting this query string parameter, we are going to filter out all these movies. Okay, so just back to editor. So first of all, we have to define some of the global parameters to use in action. So first parameter, that is type now. So let's say type now. In the second parameter, we are going to define page now. So all these two global parameters guys return some of the values. So basically this type now variable returns the type of this post type. Basically this is the movie of custom post type. So type now will return the value called movie, and the second parameter that we have defined as the page now, it will return the page name, and the page name is something called id.php. Okay, so by comparing these two parameters, we actually are going to make our filter query. Okay, so let's say that if, and before making this if, let's check that author ID. So let's say that it's set. This is in get parameter. This is coming by URL. So just make copy of this key and let's paste it here. So by getting this filter by author ID, so let's say that if it is set, we are going to retrieve its integer value. Otherwise, let's pass empty value. So we are going to check all these values inside our if condition. So let's say that if type now equal to movie, means it is of type movie, and also if page now should be something called id.php, and also author ID should not be empty. Okay, so let's say that not empty author ID. So by validating all these conditions, we are going to make our filter query. So basically what will be the query that we are going to make? So if I go to database table, this is the post meta. Just I'm clicking on that, and now inside this post meta guys, if you have remembered from the last video sessions, then we actually saved the key called author ID movie. This is the author ID movie key that we have used to make our movie related with that author. Okay, so we have to compare the author ID we are getting from this URL. We have to compare this author by this key, author ID movie. So by comparing all these two values called meta key and the meta value, we are going to retrieve this post ID. So by the help of this post ID means this is the post actually related with this author. We can filter out all the posts. So just back to editor, and now this is the query variable actually contains a key called query vars. Inside this query vars, we have to pass some of the parameters, and the first parameter we are going to pass called the meta key. So basically we are going to filter all the movies of that author by the help of this ID called author ID movie. So just make a copy of that and let's pass inside there. Okay, so basically this is the meta key that we are going to, by the help of this meta key, we are going to retrieve all the movies. And the second parameter we are going to define, let's say query. This is the query vars, and inside this vars we are going to define called the meta value. This meta value actually contains the value we are getting this author ID. So just I'm going to copy this author ID, and let's say that this is the meta key. By the help of this meta key we are going to retrieve all the post ID with this meta value as the author ID. Okay, that's it, we are done. So just back to browser, and now just I'm clicking again on the movie section. So there is no parameter inside this query string. Okay, let's select any user from this drop down list. First I'm going to select author 1. So author 1 basically contains no movies found. Okay, just I'm clicking on again. Let's select author 2. So basically author 2 contains a movie called sample movie 1. Again I'm clicking on that. Let's say 3. So author 3 contains the single movie. So let's add another movie, let's say sample test movie 6, something called. This is the test movie. I'm going to select, let's say author 2. Just click on publish, and now if I go on the movie section, let's select author 2. Click on filter. This has actually given the two values with regarding this author. As we know that we have filtered about these movies details according to our filter by author called ID author 2, but right now this is not selected. So how can we make the selection to this drop down list also? Okay, so just back to editor. If you have remembered that this is the WP dropdown users function we have used, which actually provides the dropdown list of author role called author. Okay, this contains another key called selected. Basically inside this selected we are going to pass some of the values, some of the selected values. On the behalf of that, this drop down list also gets selected. Okay, so let's say that author ID, basically let's say it's set. We are getting inside this get, and this is the called filter by author. Just I'm going to copy this key name, paste here, and just let's say that if it is set, then int val, we are going to retrieve the integer value of that, otherwise it will be empty. Okay, so we are going to make the selection of this drop down list. So just I'm going to copy this author ID, remove this and paste it here. Okay, so if we click any of the author from this drop down list, by getting this filter by author as the author ID, it will select automatically the selected user. So just back to browser. If I click on again on the movie section, let's select author 2. Click on filter, and now as we can see that the movie section also filtered, and now this is selected. This is because by the help of this key filter by author, we actually picked from that URL. We have stored inside this variable, and we have stored and put this variable inside this selected key. By getting this selected, it will make the selection of that selected user. So basically guys, in this video session we have made our parse filter query. By the help of that query, we actually filtered the created movies according to the author name. Okay, so basically what we did so far in this video session, we have actually made use of a filter hook called parse query, and we have made a callback function. This is the callback function that we have defined. Inside this callback function, we have passed a query variable. We have to check that which actually post we are going to filter out. So basically for that, we have defined two global variables. Type now is used for checking the post type. Okay, page now is used to check the page name. And the third, this is the author ID actually we are getting from this URL as the query string parameter. By getting all these parameters successfully, we have stored the meta key and the meta value inside this query vars of this query. Why we have used meta key and meta value here? Basically we actually used to save all those details inside our post meta table, which is of meta key. As you can see, this is the meta key and this is the meta value. Okay, so basically on the filter condition, we have to check that the meta key should be author ID movie and the meta value, that is the author ID we are getting from the URL. So if I go back to the editor, so this is the thing that we have to store inside this key. Okay, so by getting these keys, WordPress has looked over all these IDs and now it has filtered all the movies and put inside this data table. Okay, and also for making the selected user for the selection purpose, this is the code that we did. By getting this author ID, we have selected this author ID inside this selected key. So I think guys that by the help of this video session, I have made the clear concept about how can we implement a filter box and we can filter the movies according to that data. Okay, so if you have any doubt in this video session guys, then just drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Hello guys, welcome to Online Web Tutor presented by Preferred Solutions team. I am Sanjay. We are learning WordPress custom post type tutorial for beginners and this is our part 10. In this video session guys, we will discuss about register taxonomy for our movies custom post type. Now in this video session we will use a function called register taxonomy. And also guys, if you are a beginner to this channel, then please don't forget to subscribe and keep watching our previous video sessions of this playlist to get the clear concept about part number 10. So far guys, in this playlist we have developed several things about custom post type. Okay, so if you go to administrator panel, and now this is the custom post type that we have registered so far. So if this is your first video session, then I strongly suggest you to go to YouTube. Now inside the online web tutor, this is the playlist that we have made so far. Okay, so by the help of these 9 video sessions guys, you actually learn about the basic concepts about the creation of custom post type. Okay, so now what we are going to do inside this video session, simply we are going to add a category section for this movie's custom post type, because as we know that the movie actually categorized into several categories like Hollywood, Bollywood and the South Indian movies. Okay, so we want just to add a category inside this movie section so that we can create any movies of this custom post type inside any specific category. Okay, so to register a category inside your custom post type, just you have to use a WordPress function called register taxonomy. Okay, so just scroll down. This is the simple example guys actually the WordPress has provided. Okay, so just I'm going to copy all these codes. Let's make copy, go to editor, and now this is the plugin guys by the help of which we actually learning about the custom post type. Okay, so just underneath of this and I'm going to paste all these codes which I have copied. Okay, so this is the very basic function actually made, and this is the action hook. On init action hook we actually called our custom function. Okay, so let's do some changes like WPL, OWT, and let's say that create, it's not book taxonomy, it's let's say that movies category. Okay, so just I'm going to copy this function and replace with this function. So basically this is the function that we are calling inside this action hook called init. Okay, and now register taxonomy function is a WordPress function basically used to register any taxonomy inside any of the custom post type. Okay, or any of the WordPress default post type. So basically this is an ID of this taxonomy that we are creating. So let's change that. Let's say that movies category. And now this is the custom post type name. Okay, so if you have remembered, just go up, and this is the name. By the help of this name movie, we have registered our custom post type. Okay, so just I'm going to copy this movie, go inside function of register taxonomy, and now I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so this is the label, let's say that movie category. Okay, and let's say that slug should be movie category. Okay, so successfully guys, we have attached a simple function. By the help of this simple function, we are going to add a category section inside our movies custom post type. Okay, so just save this file, go to browser and reload this page. After loading, we can see that movie category is now inside this categories or inside this post type that we have registered. So just click movie category, and now inside this movie category guys, we can add the movie categories. So let's say that Hollywood. Okay, this is the first category that we are going to add. So just I'm clicking add new category, and this is the section that we have added. Okay, so let's say that Bollywood. This is the second category that we have added, and let's say third in this sense, let's say South Indians. Okay, this is the third category that we have registered. So successfully we have created 3 registered categories. So just I'm going to click on all movies. If I click on add new, so by clicking on that, we can see that the movie category is now appearing inside our custom post type adding section. So before adding any movies guys, just go to the list and let's select all movies. Let's move to trash and apply. So first of all, we are going to remove all the movies that we have created so far. So just go to trash section, select all, and let's say that delete permanently. So right now, by deleting all these movies guys, in our bucket there is no movie. Okay, so just I'm going to add some of the movies. So let's say that movie 1, this is a simple movie. Okay, so let's pass some of the details. Let's say that producer 1. Okay, and let's say that abc@gmail.com. let's say it is created by author 2, and some of the informations regarding movie category, let's say it is Hollywood. Okay, just I'm going to copy and click on the publish button. So basically we have created our first movie. Again I'm going to add new next movie. Let's say that movie 2. So let's say that this is another movie that we have added. Okay, let's pass, let's say abc2 producer 2, and let's say that abc2@gmail.com, and it is created by author 3, and let's say that it is Bollywood movie. Just I'm going to publish again. Let's add another movie. So successfully guys, we have added about the 4 movies details and the publisher as well as the publisher email. Okay, and also we have added the category section as well with our movies. Okay, so what actually the motto of this video session? Basically what we want, just go to all movies, we want to add a category filter right here. Means the category filter shows that what actually we are going to filter that. Suppose these are the movies that we have created with these publisher email and publisher name. Okay, and also in our previous video session guys, we had seen that how can we make the filter box for the author section, because as we know that while creating any movies we have assigned a particular author for this movie. Okay, so if we want to filter these movies according to the author section, just I'm going to select, let's say author 2, filter, and these 2 movies created by author 2. If I clicking on now for author 3, these movies actually created by the author 3. Okay, so we want that we need to add a category filter here, so that after selecting any categories, means either Hollywood, Bollywood or South Indian, we can filter out the movies from this list. So basically guys, from the next video session, that is part number 11, we will going to add a category filter, and now on the behalf of that category we cannot filter out all the movies from this list. Okay, so from this video session guys, we actually learned about the registration of custom categories in our custom post type, so that in the next video session we will add category filter, and we will actually filter out all the movies from the list. So if we summarize this video session guys, so now if you want to actually add any custom taxonomy in our WordPress setup, just you need to use the register taxonomy WordPress function. So basically this is the function that actually we can use by this syntax. Okay, first of all you have to pass the taxonomy ID, that is genre in this case, and now this is the post type. So far we have created the movies custom post type, so in that condition we have passed the movie name. As we know that WordPress has default post types like pages and post. Okay, so according to your need, according to registration, you can pass the custom post type name, and this is the parameter that we have to pass inside this array section. So basically about this whole concept of parameters inside register taxonomy, you can read actually by going to this URL. It had provided the details of each and every parameter into deep. Okay, so basically guys, this is the video session about registration of custom taxonomy. In our next video session we will see about the category filter functionality. Okay, so for this video session guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Hello guys, welcome to online web tutor presented by Profitable Solutions team. I am Sanjay. We are learning WordPress custom post type tutorial for beginners, and this is our part 11. In this video session guys, we will use or make category filter box to filter out all the movies that we have created in our previous video session. So to accomplish all this task, we will use action hook called restrict manage post, filter hook called parse query, and the WordPress function called WP drop down categories. And also guys, if you are a beginner to this channel, then please don't forget to subscribe and keep watching our previous video sessions to get the clear concept about part number 11. So basically guys, what we did inside our previous video sessions, so just go to administrator panel, and this is the movie section that we have registered. So if you have remembered guys, in our last video session we have added a movie category section inside our custom post type. Okay, so inside this video session guys, we are going to add a filter box of category section right here. So how can we do that? So basically for that guys, we are going to use our action hook called restrict manage post. So first of all, let's copy out, go to editor, and this is the plugin that we have registered so far. Okay, so just I'm going to down section here, and let's say that add action. This is the action hook called restrict manage post, and now in the second parameter we need to pass the callback function. So let's say that WPL or WT, and let's say that category filter box. Next we need to define this callback function. So just I'm going to copy this callback function. Let's say that function, this is the function that we have defined, and now let's say I'm going to declare some of the global variables inside this function. Let's say global type now. So basically it will check the custom post type. Okay, and let's say that so taxonomy equal to, so we have registered, if you have remembered, movie category is the taxonomy name that we have registered. Okay, this is the section guys that we have actually studied in our last video session. So basically just I'm going to copy movie category, and let's pass inside this variable. So first of all we have to check that if the type now means the custom post type should be of movie. Okay, because we want the category filter box right inside our custom post type, not for the post section as well as the pages section. So we need to restrict that filter box for only movie section. Okay, so for that we need to check the type of this post type. So basically if it is movie type, then we need to show that box. Okay, so just back to editor, and let's say that if type now basically it's a movie. Okay, so in this block actually we are going to show the drop down of categories. In the next section guys, we are going to add a function of called WP drop down categories. Basically this is the function WordPress provides basically to show all the drop downs basically on the taxonomy type. Okay, so just I'm going to copy WP drop down categories, just go to editor, and I'm going to paste that. This is the WordPress function. Basically it will take some of the parameters from us inside this array variable. Okay, so just go to browser again. So these are the parameters guys actually we need to pass inside that function. Not all the parameters we need to define inside this function, we need to actually use according to our use. Okay, so just I'm going to show option all, just back to editor, and let's say that show option all, basically it will have a message called show all. Okay, in the next parameter we need to pass, let's say that name section. So just find name, go and let's say that name, and basically let's say that filter by category. Okay, so this is the name section guys. Actually we can find that name by filtering out inside this URL as a querying string parameter. Okay, in the next parameter guys, we need to pass that which type of taxonomy or categories we are going to show inside this categories function. Okay, so just back to function, and now inside the taxonomy function, this is another parameter we need to pass here. Okay, so just I'm going to copy that, go to editor, and let's say that taxonomy. Inside this taxonomy, what actually we are going to show? We are going to show our movie categories. Okay, so just I'm going to copy. So just copy this variable name and paste here. Back to browser, and now here as we can see that show count. So basically we want that actually movies categories that we have registered, that is go just movie category. Inside this Bollywood section, we want that when the drop down will appear, then the Bollywood movie show the count, that how many movies it actually contains. So just back to function, and let's copy show count. Okay, back to editor, and let's paste it here. So basically we want that the numbers should be appear by the category name as well. To show numbers, we need to pass the true value right inside this parameter variable. Okay, so basically guys, this is the function that we have defined inside this WP dropdown categories, and this is the callback function that we have defined with this action hook. Okay, so if we save this file, go to browser, reload this page, just go to all movies section, and now as we can see that this is the category box filter we have added. And now this is the count section, that Hollywood 2, Bollywood 1 and the South Indian ones. Basically it indicating that Hollywood contains the 2 movies inside that, Bollywood 1 and the South Indian one. Okay, and this is the show all actually appearing as a message we have defined right here. Okay, so this is the show optional name. What actually is the name section here? If we just go to drop down, if I click on Hollywood, clicking on filter, so this is the name, as we can see that filter by category. This is the filter by category message we got inside this query string parameter by defining that name right here. Okay, on the behalf of by getting the value of filter by category, and this is the name, we are going to filter out all the movies according to this category. Okay, and also for the next parameter, that is taxonomy, this parameter tells that which type of a category we are going to appear inside this function. So basically we are going to show the movie categories. Okay, and the show count function, basically it indicates that how many movies contains by individual categories. Next we have to use guys the filter hook called parse query. By the help of this filter hook, we can actually filter out all the movies that we have selected for the category 2. Okay, so just go back. By using those actually filter hook, we can filter out all the movies that we have registered. So right now it is not working. Okay, so that we are going to use the parse query as the filter hook. So just back to editor, and now let's say that add filter. Inside this add filter function guys, we are going to pass the parse query. Okay, parse query, and then the second parameter we need to pass the callback function. So let's that WPL, that this is WordPress plugin, and let's set it OWT parse category function. Okay, next we have to define this function. So just make copy that, and let's say that function, this is the function name. And now inside this function we are going to pass or define our functionality to filter out all the movies according to category. Okay, so basically inside this function guys, you need to pass a variable, let's say that query. Okay, inside this function guys, we are going to define some of the global parameters for our use. So let's say that global, this is type now to check the type, and this is global, this is page now, means which type of PHP files that we have opened. And in the next parameter guys, let's say that post type. Basically this is the filter box that we have added for our movie as the custom post type. Okay, and for the custom taxonomy that we have made, so let's say that taxonomy, and this is the taxonomy that we have registered, if you have remembered. So this is movie category, so just make copy of that, and we have to define right here. Next we are going to use this query variable. Okay, so just I'm going to copy that, and let's say that query variables. Basically this is the query variables guys, actually contains all the references of this variable. Okay, so let's say that for the reference we use ampersand. This actually operator tells the PHP to store the reference of that variable. So this is the variable that we have passed right here, and now this variable actually contains an object which is known as query vars. Okay, basically this is the query vars guys, act as to collect all the query string parameters that we have defined or passed inside this URL. It defines all the variables from this URL and now stored back as the reference to this variable. Okay, so basically guys, if we want to check this query variable, so let's say that print r, and now this is the value actually we are going to print. Okay, so just back to administrator panel, and now click on all movies section. So basically if I click on Hollywood, just click on filter. If we inspect, so basically as we can see that this contains bunch of parameters inside this query variables. Okay, so we are going to use some of the parameters from this array variables. Okay, on the behalf of these parameters guys, we are going to filter out all the movies that we have created. Okay, so just back to editor, and also I think we have missed one of the parameters that we are getting, like filter by author, filter by category. Okay, so just go to editor. I think we did a mistake here, and also for the name section we have to pass the same taxonomy right here. Okay, so if we refresh that page, let's select one of the movies from that, let's say Hollywood, and now as we can see that it's not came again. I think guys that we have to hard refresh this page, so let's just go back, let's select Hollywood and filter. This is movie category. So if we inspect that, just click on body section. So this is a movie category. This is the variable that we have passed inside this query string, as you can see, and this contains the value of 2. Okay, so on the behalf of this ID guys, we are going to filter out all the movies. Okay, and this is the movie category we have passed right here inside this name parameter. Okay, so just go down, and now inside this function guys, we are going to get the ID of this movie category parameters, and now by the help of this ID we are going to filter out. So just get rid of that, and let's say that type now. If type now means the custom post type is equal to this custom post type that we have defined, and the page now means the variable we have defined, let's say page now, its page now is equal to something called edit.php. This is the file that we have defined. Okay, so let's say page now equal to edit.php, and also we need to check the variable called the movie category. Okay, so also we have to check, so let's say that is set, let's say that query variables, and it contains the value called taxonomy. Okay, so just I'm going to copy this taxonomy variable and paste inside this query variables. First we have to check that the query variables actually contains the movie category as the value or not. Okay, and also we have to check that this is a numeric value because we have passed the ID of that category. Okay, so let's go ahead and check that. So let's set query variables, and the taxonomy is also needs to be numeric. So is numeric is a WordPress function, it's a PHP function basically used to check a number is defined or not. Okay, so by checking all these things means the custom post type that we are getting is something called movie, and the page is something called edit.php, and our query string variable is defined and it's numeric. Okay, so after satisfying all these conditions guys, we need to filter out, or we need to fetch the term detail in the sense that this is a taxonomy. Okay, and we want to fetch all the movies related informations according to this movie category. Okay, and this is a term ID. So on the behalf of this 2 means the movie category is something called 2, this is called term ID. Okay, so on the behalf of this ID we want to fetch the term details. Okay, so let's say that term details, WordPress provides a function called getTermBy. Okay, on the behalf of ID, because we are going to pass the ID section as of that. Okay, and the ID is stored inside this variable called query variables. Just I'm going to copy, let's query variables and taxonomy, because it contains the ID of movie. Okay, so just pass here, and now we are going to filter, we are going to take the information of that term by the ID. Okay, and this is the ID that we are going to pass, and the next parameter we need to pass the taxonomy name. Okay, so just with the comma separated, let's say that. So getTermBy is a WordPress function, basically takes some of the parameters, first parameters that we have defined, that we need to fetch all the details by ID. Okay, and here is the ID. Okay, so on the behalf of which category, this is the movie category. Okay, so let's go ahead and pass this term details, let's say that, if we check that what actually basically information it, let's say print r. So just let's say die. Okay, so basically we have paged all the term details, and let's go ahead and print out that. So just refresh this page. So this is the information, okay, like term ID, Hollywood, this is slug, and these all are informations related with this movie category. Okay, and this is the term ID. So next go ahead to editor, and let's say that query variable taxonomy, just I'm going to copy. And now inside this variable means it actually returns the value. It returns the value. Okay, so inside this variable we need to store call term details and the slug value of that. Okay, so basically this is the slug that we are getting. Just copy that and let's pass here. So just pass the slug inside this variable. Okay, after passing that, if we go ahead to browser and just refresh this page, so now just click on all movies. So just filter out first of all, let's author 2. I'm going to filter. So these two movies created by our author 2. Okay, so if we click on edit, this is the movie in Hollywood section. Okay, so just go ahead and let's say got all movies, filter out again by author 2, click on movie 1. So this is the movie in our Bollywood section. Okay, so basically all author section means the author 2 contains the two movies. One of is in Hollywood and the second is in Bollywood. Okay, so we want to filter by Hollywood. So just I'm clicking and go to filter. So this is the Hollywood movie. Okay, so this is the Hollywood movie created by our author 2. So if we go ahead and select Bollywood 2, so this is the movie 1 created by author 2 in the category called Bollywood. So in the next step guys, we want that this drop down box also gets selected, because right now it is not selecting. Okay, so just go ahead to our editor, and because this is the drop down that we have made, okay, we want that on selecting any value from this category drop down, we want that that value should be selected. So for making the selection box, just let's say that selected movie category ID. Okay, so just we are going to retrieve the movie category ID from this query string. Okay, so we have stored inside this variable called movie category. Okay, so let's say that it's set get, and this is the variable that we have defined, means this is the taxonomy. Okay, so just I'm going to copy and paste inside this get. Okay, so let's say that if it's set, we want to just return the integer value, int val. Okay, and also guys, this WP dropdown categories contains another property inside this array variable, let's say selected. Okay, inside this selected we are going to pass this ID. Okay, so let's go ahead and pass that. So if we save that, go to browser and reload this page, as we can see that the Bollywood is now selected. Okay, again I'm going to select author 3. It contains a movie 2. If I click on edit, and now this movie 2 contains information regarding the Bollywood section. Okay, so basically guys, by the help of this video session, we actually learned about that how can we filter out by the movies categories that we have developed in our previous video session. Okay, so if I click again on author 2, click on filter, so these movies, two movies contained by author 2. If we again go ahead to this category section, if you want to Hollywood section, so basically by clicking on filter, we get actually the selected value by the Hollywood section. Okay, so by the help of this video session guys, we actually learned that how can we embed a drop down categories to our filter box. Okay, by selecting any values from this drop down list, actually we have filtered right here. So basically you have to remember some of the parameters, some of the values for implementing this type of situation. Okay, first of all, you should use an action hook called restrict manage post. Basically this is useful to make the drop down list of categories. Okay, next we have to go and filter out all the movies related with this drop down list. So basically parse query is used to that. Parse query is the filter hook we use to filter out the drop down, means the value from actually movies that we have selected. Okay, and in third we have used called WP drop down categories. This is the function responsible to actually show the layout section for the drop down list. Okay, so in this video session guys, we actually learned about 3 different things. Okay, so according to your use, you can actually make use of these things and implement in your project. Okay, so I hope guys I have made much more clear concept about the category filter box by the help of this video session. Okay, so if you have any query, then please drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Hello guys, welcome to Online Web Tutor presented by Performance Solutions team. I am Sanjay. We are learning WordPress custom post tutorial for beginners, and this is our part 12. In this video session guys, we will discuss that how can we make menus of plugin as a custom post type. And also guys, if you are a beginner to this channel, then please don't forget to subscribe and keep watching our previous video sessions to get the clear concept about WordPress custom post type tutorial. So basically guys, from our previous video sessions we learned that how can we make our custom post type, as well as we have seen more about things in custom post type. Okay, so what actually we are going to do in this video session? In this video session guys, we will make a separate plugin in which we will register a menu. Okay, where actually we bind some of the custom post type to that menu as a submenus. Right now as we can see that this is the menu pages where all pages and add new are submenus, and also you can see that in the post section these are all submenus. Okay, so we are going to make a menu system, and now inside this menu system all these submenus actually are the custom post types. And also guys, before going to that session, actually we did a mistake in our last video session. And what was the mistake? If I go to our custom post type, suppose movies, in this movie section, actually by adding on movie section we actually taken the details of producer like name and the email, which is basically related to our movie system. Okay, but when we actually click on all movies, we can see that publisher email and the publisher name, which is somewhere related with the books. These are actually the same details which actually we have taken from by adding these movies, but the naming convention according this is called something called producer email and the producer name. Okay, this is actually one of the user has noticed of our users list and tell us that actually we have merged the concept of movie and the book system both. Okay, because publisher is somewhere is the term which is related with the book, but the producer naming convention is somewhere with the movies. Okay, so just change the name system. So now we are going to make a separate plugin. By the help of that plugin we will make submenus as a custom post type. Okay, so just back to editor, and now this is the plugin guys that we have made so far. Okay, so just I'm going to click on sources file, click on folder, and let's create a plugin called WP custom post type menus. Okay, this is the folder that we have created, and also we can check inside our folder that we have created right here. Okay, this is inside the plugins folder. So just back to editor, and now inside this folder we are going to create a main plugin file. Suppose let's create a file, and that file actually PHP file, let's say that wp cpt menus.php. so just go inside that file, and now I'm going to copy some of the comment section from our last plugin. So this is the comment section that we have made. So just I'm going to copy and paste inside this PHP file. Okay, so let's change that to menus, and this is a simple plugin for menus and submenus system. Okay, so version should be something 1.0.0 and the author should be Online Web Tutor. Okay, so let's make a function called function wplowt, let's say cpt menus. This is the function we are going to define to attach our menus. Okay, inside this function guys we are going to use a WordPress function called add menu page. Okay, basically this is a WordPress function which basically makes a menu. Okay, first we have to pass the page title, so let's say that. So before defining this plugin guys, why not actually we make uninstall the previous plugin. Okay, so just I'm going to plugin section, and now this is the plugin that we have made, so we want to be deactivate first. So just deactivate that, go to editor, and let's make add menu page and something called movies. Okay, this time it is a menu page. Okay, just I'm going to copy. Second parameter we need to pass called the menu title. Third called the permission label, so that is in this case let's say manage options. Fourth parameter we need to pass the page slug. Okay, so let's say that movies. Fifth we need to pass called the callback function, so we didn't want to actually connect this menu system with any callback function. Right now we have no function to attach with this. Okay, so let's pass false value because we don't want to pass any of the callback function with this menu. Okay, next parameter we need to pass an icon for that. Okay, so for icon, just I have opened a website called dash icons, sorry, developers.wordpress.org/resource/dash icons. Okay, inside this dash icons you can find several of the icons actually WordPress provides. Okay, so let's make an icon something like that. Just I'm going to copy, let's say dash icons image filter, going to editor, and now I'm going to paste inside this double quotes. Okay, so this is the icon that we have attached with this menu system. And finally, after making this function, we need to attach this function with our action hook called add action, and this is called admin menu, and this is the callback function that we have supplied. Okay, so if we save this file, go to browser, administrator panel, refresh this page, and now this is the plugin that we have made. Just I'm going to click on activate button. By activating, guys, as we can see that inside our menu system, here is the menu called movies. Okay, so when we click that, page not found. Why? Because we didn't actually attach any of the callback function with this click. Just reload this page again, and this is the menu. So next what we have to do, we have to attach some of the custom post types that we actually create, and now we will bind inside this movie section. Okay, so as we know, guys, that from our previous video sessions we have a concept that how can we register a custom post type. Okay, so basically WordPress provides a function called register post type, which is responsible to register any of the custom post type in our WordPress setup. Okay, so let's have a look. This is the official website of WordPress, which basically tells that how can we register a custom post type. Okay, so just I'm going to scroll, and now it provides some of the actually dummy data that we can use in this video session. Okay, so this is the dummy, actually this is the sample actually WordPress provides. Okay, so I'm going to copy all these concepts. Okay, this is a book custom post type that WordPress provides as sample data. Okay, so just I'm going to copy, go inside our plugin, and now I'm going to paste it that. Let's replace some of the values, some of the static values from this. So first of all, we have to change the name of the function. Okay, so let's say that WPL or WT CPT, and let's say that producer, or let's say that movie categories. Okay, movie category. So this is the callback function. Just I'm going to copy and paste it here. So before going to that, if I copy this function, copy that, go inside editor, and let's paste it that first of all we have to actually replace all the terms with books, let's say movie category. Okay, so just I'm going to copy, Control H to replace, and let's say that category. Okay, so this is, instead of book we are going to use called category. Okay, so just I'm going to replace all. So successfully we have replaced all the things. Okay, and also for the category section actually we have to rename again. So let's say the category, it's not categories, it's categories. Okay, so just I'm going to replace all. So successfully, if I'm going to copy this content again, go to our editor and replace with these contents. Okay, so successfully we have made a custom post type with the name of category. Okay, so let's make in a small case. So successfully, guys, this is the custom post type that we are going to attach with this menu system. Okay, so now question is that how can we attach this custom post type with this movie section. Okay, so before attaching that, if you go to administrator panel, just refresh that page. So as we can see that the category is separate a menu system in this left sidebar. So we want that these category system will be appeared inside this movie section, not going to make any of the separate menu section. So how can we achieve that? So just go to documentation of register post type. Let's find a term called show in menu. Okay, so this is the term actually registration of custom post type contains. Okay, so just I'm going to enter and enter. So as we can see that in the args parameter it is an array, and now inside this array we have passed a parameter called show in menu, and basically show in menu takes three parameters. First, either it should be contain the true value or it will be false value, and third, it will be any string, either it's a custom post type name or any of the page name. Okay, so just going to editor, and now let's find show in menu. So basically this is show in menu, and right now it contains the true value. Let's change it to the menu system that we have registered. Okay, so this is the menu that we have registered. Okay, so we actually want to appear this custom post type inside that menu. Okay, so we want that here we have to pass the menu slug. Okay, so what actually menu slug we have provided? Movies. Okay, so just I'm going to copy, scroll down, and now let's say that so in menu, instead of this true value we have to pass the menu slug. Okay, this is the menu slug that we have registered before that. So if I save this file, go to administrator panel and refresh that page. Once we refresh, as we can see that inside movies section we have a submenu called all categories. So if I click that, and this is the custom post tab that we have registered so far in this plugin. Okay, so what actually next we want? We want that another custom post type will be registered with the name of called movies. Okay, so inside this menu section guys, we actually develop all the system by the help of custom post type and the menu of WordPress. Okay, so basically inside this menu section that is movies, inside that we want that add new or movie system will be there and add new category system will be there. Okay, so just back to editor, let's make copy of all these things, means the custom post type things. Okay, I have copied, just I'm going to remove all these and paste it here. Okay, so all we have to remove the category name with the movie system. Okay, so let's say that instead of category, or let's say categories, we have to replace, so let's say that instead of categories we want that movies. Okay, just I'm going to replace all. So successfully we have replaced that, and in place of category we want that it should be movies. Okay, instead of categories we want movie, so just I'm going to replace all. So successfully we have replaced the categories and the movie by our new naming convention. Okay, and here should be something called movie. So let's copy all these contents, go to editor, and now inside that we are going to paste it here. Okay, so before that, why not actually we are going to make a comment for that. So this is basically for the category section. Okay, just scroll down, and next we are going to register our movies. Okay, so let's say that for custom post type movies. Okay, just paste it here. So successfully we have pasted all the register post type required contents for the movie section and the for category section. Okay, so same in this, so in menus we actually replace with the movie system, movies. This is the menu slug. We want that this custom post type should also appear inside our movies menu page. Okay, so just I'm going to cut this section and paste at the upper position before category. Okay, because we want that this movie section will be appeared before category. So once we just do it, reload this page, and now as we can see that inside this movie section we have two portions of custom post type. First, all movies, and second, all categories. So inside all movies section we can actually add all movies, and these all our movies actually came from our database where actually we have registered movie as a custom post type before. So just I'm going to delete all these movies that we have created so far from our previous plugin. Okay, so move to trash and apply. So successfully if I go to trash, just check on, and let's say delete permanently and apply. Okay, so successfully actually we have removed all of our movies post type from this list. So successfully in our movies case there is no movies that we have created, there is no categories we have created. Okay, so from our next video session guys, we will see that how can we create our movies and categories from here, and also inside this movie, while creating any movie we want that this category appear right here. So we will actually make that concept by the help of a meta box. We will register a meta box where actually we have to choose some of the categories that we are going to create for this movie. So basically guys, from the help of this video session we actually learned about that how can we create a plugin by the help of custom post type, because we have registered a menus name movie, and now we have registered two post type, that is categories and movie, and we have taken the same menu that we have created as the menu slug, and we have checked that show in menu of registered post type. Okay, and actually we have seen that how can we show all these post types inside our custom menu that we have registered in this plugin. Okay, so I hope guys that I have actually made the clear concept about registration of menus and custom post types inside that menu. Okay, so if you have any query in this video session guys, then please drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Hello guys, welcome to online web tutor presented by Prophetic Solutions team. I am Sanjay. We are learning WordPress custom post tutorial for beginners, and this is our part 13. In this video session guys, we'll discuss about that how can we register a meta box of custom post type to another custom post type. And also guys, if you are a beginner to this channel, then please don't forget to subscribe and keep watching our previous video sessions to get the clear concept about part number 13. And also, if this is your first video session guys, then I strongly suggest you that just go to YouTube, and now inside the playlist called WordPress Custom Post Tutorial, in this playlist guys, you will find all the existing videos that we did so far. So basically guys, in our previous video sessions, means in part number 12, we actually did a register a post type that is movies, and now we have actually also registered another custom post type called categories. Okay, and now in our previous video sessions we have made a menus and sub menus on the behalf of two custom post type. Okay, so what actually we are going to do inside this video session, basically while clicking on movies, inside this movie section guys, if you go to add new section, and now we want that we should register a meta box of categories that we have developed as a custom post type. We want that these categories should appear right here. Okay, so how can we achieve that? So before starting this video session guys, actually we have learned about the add meta box WordPress function in our previous video session, that how can we register a meta box in WordPress. So to get the clear concept about add meta box, you can watch our previous video session. Okay, so just I'm going to copy, go to editor, and now this is the plugin that we have registered so far with our WP custom post type menus. Okay, so inside this function that we have developed in our previous video session, if I go just let's say add meta box, and now this function will take some of the parameters from us. Okay, the first parameter that we need to pass, that meta box ID. Okay, so let's say that category ID, because we are going to make a meta box of categories that we have registered. Okay, second, called the meta box title, so let's say that category, or let's say movie category. Third parameter, we need to pass the callback function. Okay, so let's say that WPL CPT category meta box. Okay, this is the callback function we will define later on. Okay, in the next parameter guys, we need to define about the screen details, and now a screen detail says that at what actually screen we want to appear this meta box. So we want that this meta box should appear at our movie section. Okay, so if you have remembered that we actually, while registering our movies, this is the movie that we have registered. Okay, so just I'm going to copy, go inside function. Now in the next parameter we need to pass the movie name. Okay, next parameter we need to pass the context section, means at what position we want to appear this meta box. So we want that something sidebar. Just go to administrator panel, and now this is the side position. As you can see, publish, featured image, these are at the side position. Okay, so we want that our meta box should go inside right here. Okay, so just back to editor, and let's say that side. Okay, after that we have to pass the context priority. Okay, so what actually context priority is, if you go to administrator panel, context priority means the position at this sidebar. Okay, we want that our meta box should appear at the upper position, means at the high position. Okay, so we have to pass, let's say that high. So if I save this file, go to administrator panel and refresh this page, as we can see that the movie category is now appearing as a meta box at the high position of this sidebar. Okay, and also guys, about the details of these parameters we had discussed in our previous video session. Okay, so to get the clear concept about these parameters, you can actually watch our previous video session too. Now let's just start to define this callback function. Okay, so just I'm going to copy this callback function, go underneath, and let's say that function, this is the callback function name, and inside this callback function guys, we are going to make the layout of this meta box. Right now it actually does not contain any of the values inside that. As we can see, no values actually contained by movie category. So we want that the drop down of all categories that we create under this list, this actually all categories should appear inside this meta box. Okay, so first of all we have to create some of the categories inside this all category section. So let's say that Hollywood. Okay, just I'm going to publish again. Next category, let's say Bollywood. Publish. Let's say that. South Indians. And the final one, let's say cartoon movies. Okay, cartoon. So just I'm going to publish. So basically we have actually added 4 of the categories inside this category section. We want that these all categories that we have created should appear inside our meta box called movie category. Okay, so for that we have many options to implement that functionality. Okay, the first option is that if you go to editor, first option is that just I'm going to define, let's say, global WPDB object. Okay, let's make a custom query for that. Let's say WPDB get results. Inside this get results function, let's say WPDB prepare for prevent the SQL injections. And now inside this query, let's say that select asterisk, or let's say post title from WPDB posts. Okay, where post type equal to the post type that we have registered for the category section. If we have remembered, then it is category. So just I'm going to copy, and let's say that post type equal to %s, and this as represents the category name. Okay, so if we save this file, let's say that all categories. Okay, so if we go ahead and let's say print r, so if we save this, and now let's reload this page. Once reload, as we can see that it contains the objects. Just click on inspect, and now it contains the informations like Hollywood, Bollywood, South Indians, and the cartoon. These are the objects that actually got by making this SQL query. Okay, so this is the first option. So let's make a comment, let's say first option. Okay, after getting all these data, guys, actually we can actually render by using for each loop inside a drop down list. Okay, so basically this is the first option that we have to make the drop down list. Okay, second option, what actually we will do, just I'm going to comment all these things, and let's say that by using the WordPress function called get posts. Okay, so let's say that categories equal to get post is the WordPress function. Basically inside this function we need to pass the post type. Okay, so inside this array we need to pass a parameter called post type equal to categories. Okay, this is the post type that we have created with the name called category. So just I'm going to copy and paste inside this. Okay, and in the second parameter we want that this post actually status has publish. Okay, so if we save this, let's make a printer again, print r, reload this administrator panel, and now we actually got the same result as we can see. Just I'm going to inspect, just scroll down. So as we can see that this is the post title, that is cartoon. Next, this is South Indians. Next, this is Bollywood, and now this is Hollywood. So all the categories, guys, we actually got by using the second way of function called get post. While getting these datas, actually we make the drop down using for each loop. Okay, so now we have another way to make the drop down list. Okay, so what actually is that? So if I make comment, so just make comment of these. And now in the third option, guys, we actually use a function called WP drop down pages. It automatically generates a drop down that actually we will pass some of the parameters inside this function. Okay, so what actually we will pass that? So first of all we have to just copy of this function, go to editor, and let's say that WP drop down pages, about parameter details, just back to browser, and now these are the argument list, guys, that we can see. Okay, just scroll down. It also defines some of the parameters like post type. Okay, so we have to pass the post type as the custom post type that we have made. Okay, so just back to editor. Inside this function we have to make an array. Okay, inside this array let's pass post type equal to category that we have registered. okay, it automatically generates a drop down list. Okay, so let's say that first of all we have to make a label section. So let's say that label choose category. Okay, and now inside this div section, we have a drop down list. This is something like that. Okay, so we have a small layout section for this meta box. First of all, it contains a label called category, choose category. In the second div section, it will contain the drop down list. Okay, so if we save this file, go to browser, reload this page, and now as we can see that this contains a label, okay, but does not contain the drop down list. Let me check that. Let's inspect that. So as I think guys that the div section is now empty. Okay, so why it is empty? Just back to editor. Now this is the drop down pages that we have passed. And one more thing guys that actually we forgot to attach is that what post type actually we want to show inside this drop down. Okay, so basically we have mentioned about the category section. So basically inside this post type category, so just scroll down, this is the post type that we have registered. So inside this category section we have to make a parameter, something called hierarchical, and hierarchical parameter should be true. Okay, so while making this true value, automatically it will pick all the categories that we have created inside this drop down. What we actually done, we have to change the hierarchical value of false to true inside this post type. Okay, so just save this file, go to administrator panel and refresh this page. While refresh, as we can see, we have the category section like Bollywood, cartoon, Hollywood and South Indians. These all categories that we have created inside this all categories section. Let's create some of the movies with these datas. Okay, so let's say that movie 1. Okay, this is the movie 1 attached with our Hollywood section. Just I'm going to publish. Let's add some of the movies again. Let's say movie 2. Click on South Indians and publish, create new. Let's say that movie 3, this is in cartoon section, publish again. So successfully we have created 3 movies in 3 different categories. Okay, so just I'm going to edit this movie. As we can see that this is not the selected at this situation, because this is the movie that we have created inside the cartoon section, but now this value is not selected. This is because we are not saving this value to our database table. So first of all we have to save this value. While making any movies with these data, we need to save this data as well. Okay, so just back to editor. To save the data of any custom meta box in our WordPress, we have to use action hook called save post. Okay, so for that, let's say that add action save post. This is the action hook that we need to add. Okay, and now inside this action hook we need to make a callback function. So let's say WPL save category meta box. Okay, next we need to define this callback function. So let's say that function, this is our callback function. Inside this callback function, first we need to check the post type. Okay, so let's say that global type now. Basically this type now gives you the custom post type that we are rendering. Okay, so let's say that if type now equal to the category section or the movie section, because we are saving this data while editing any of the movies or saving any movie. Okay, this meta box actually appearing inside this movie. So movie is the custom post type. Okay, so we need to check that while saving this category, the post type should be movie. Okay, so let's say that type now equal to movie. While getting the type now equal to movie, we need to update our post meta. So let's say that update post meta. Basically this callback function takes some of the parameters from us, and first we have to define the priority of this execution. So this is the priority of execution of this callback function. Okay, now this is the to indicates that we are going to pass 2 of the parameters inside this callback function. Okay, so let's say that first parameter it should be post ID and second should be the post detail. Okay, bypassing these 2 parameters we need to save this data. Okay, so first of all let's pass that post ID. So update post meta, this will take a parameter called post ID. Next we have to pass the key, so we are going to save the movie category. So let's say that movie category selected. Okay, this is the key that you have to pass. In the next parameter we need to pass the value. Okay, so while actually saving, we need to get the data of this drop down. So first of all we have to make the name parameters in here. Okay, so let's say name, let's say movie category. So this is the name that we have defined. So just I'm going to go copy movie category. Let's retrieve that value. So let's say that category equal to each set request. This is the movie category. So we actually get the data inside this variable. Okay, so let's say that trim. Okay, or basically it will give us the integer value of that post type. Okay, so if we just comment out this section, go to administrator panel, and now if we inspect that, then we can see that this drop down value will give the value as the integer value. And also guys, if you go to the documentation section of WP drop down pages, then basically it will provide us a name as the default value as page ID. Okay, so as we can see that this is the page ID that is default value. So we want to change that. So to change that, we need to pass the value inside our name section as we have given movie category. Okay, so we are retrieving the integer value from this drop down. So we want to save this category value. So just I'm going to copy. Inside this update post meta, we need to pass inside this third variable. Okay, this is the category ID. And basically guys, the update post meta is the WordPress function. If it finds that key in our database, then it will update, or else it will add a new key with this name. Okay, so it works as both as update as well as add section. Okay, so if we save this file, go to administrator panel, and now close this, inspect, reload this page. So let's movie 3, let's update into cartoon section. So just I'm going to update this. After updating, if you go to database, just I'm going to click on WP post meta, descending order, and now as we can see that movie category selected, that is 65. Okay, this is the post ID 83. So let's make a zoom. So basically post ID 83 means this is the post ID 83. Okay, this contains the value of this cartoon section. Okay, which basically the post type has of 65. Okay, so we want that this drop down box should also selected while saving any details with this movie. Okay, so how can we make the selected to this box? So first of all, this function means the WP drop down pages contains a key called selected. This selected will take the integer value what actually we want to be selected on. So just back to editor, and now let's say that we want to get this post meta value that we have saved. Okay, so let's say that saved ID. Okay, and this saved ID uses a function called getPostMeta. Basically this getPostMeta function returns the ID that we have saved. Okay, after getting this ID, we actually make the selected as the parameter, and now inside this selected parameter that we have seen, inside this selected we have to pass the integer value that we have saved of this category. Okay, so just I'm going to copy this saved ID and we have to pass here. Now inside this getPostMeta function guys, we have to pass some of the parameters to retrieve that value. Okay, so basically first of all, this function that we have defined, it will take a parameter called post. By the help of this variable means post, as we scroll down, this basically contains a key called post ID. This will give the ID of that object. Okay, and in the second we have to pass the key that we have saved. So basically we use the movie category selected as the key to save that value. Okay, so we need to pass in the second parameter, and third parameter we need to pass the true value for getting a single value of that. Okay, so if we save this file, go to browser and reload this page. So as we can see that the cartoon is now selected. Just back to all movie section, and now if we click on edit of movie 2, let's Hollywood. So if we update, and now as we can see that the Hollywood is now selected. Again I'm clicking on all movies, movie 1, and let's choose a category called South Indians. Okay, so on the behalf of all these categories, now movie has the drop down and all it's the post meta as the category value. Okay, so what we want from the next video, we want that these categories that we have created should appear in our data table right here to filter out the movies that we have created. This is the whole concept, guys, that we have seen about the custom post type registration and how can we use custom post type in WordPress. Okay, in our previous video session, guys, before making this menu system of custom post type, we actually learned about that how can we register a taxonomy inside our custom post type. And now these are the two categories, means movie section and the categories, these are the two custom post type that we have registered. Okay, so from the next video session, guys, we will make this category section a drop down list to filter out the movies that we have created inside that category right here. Okay, so if you have any query in this video session, guys, then just drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session, guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Hello guys, welcome to Online Web Tutor presented by Proof Solutions team. I am Sanjay. We are learning WordPress custom post type tutorial for beginners, and this is part 14. In this video session, guys, we will see that how can we register the filter box for custom post type that we have created. And also, guys, if you are a beginner to this channel, then please watch our previous video session to get the clear concept about WordPress custom post type. So basically, guys, in our previous video session, we have made the meta box for our category section. So if I click on add new, so this is the category section that we have registered in our previous video session. Okay, so inside this video session, guys, that we want that this drop down that we have saved with that movies, we want that they should make a drop down filter right here. Okay, so how can we make the categories drop down filter right here? So just back to editor, scroll down, and let's say that add action, we need to use add action, and we have to use called restrict manage post. Basically about this action hook, guys, we actually discussed in our previous video session in great detail. Okay, in the second parameter we need to pass the callback function, that is WPL movie category filter box. Okay, so just we have to define this callback function. So let's make copy of that. Let's say function, this is the function name, and inside this function let's declare a global variable called global. This is type now. Just I'm going to copy this type now. Let's say that if type now equal to movie, because inside the movie section means is inside our custom post type that we have created, that is movie. By getting the movie as a custom post type, we need to show this drop down. Okay, so let's say that to make the drop down list, guys, we actually seen about the WP drop down pages function. Okay, so if you have not watched our previous video session, means part number 13, this is the function that we have used called WP drop down pages. By passing the post type, it will give the post type details. So just I'm going to copy this function name, go to editor, and let's say that WP drop down pages. Inside this function we need to pass some of the parameters, and now inside this array variable, the first parameter that we will pass called post type, because we want that the category post type should appear. In the next parameter, guys, we need to pass the name section. Okay, so let's say that name should be something called filter by category. Okay, in the third parameter we need to pass the selected value. Okay, so let's say selected. Right now let's pass selected value as the 0 value. Okay, so for now, if we save this file, so just save this file, go to administrator panel, and now refresh this page. As we can see that these are the categories that we have created is now appearing as the filter box. Okay, so just back to editor, let's add another parameter, that is show option none. Let's say show option none. Okay, so basically this will add another value, let's say that select category. So if we save this file, go to browser, reload this page, and now as we can see that the select category is the show option and values, and these are the categories that we have saved. Okay, so next what we want that while clicking Bollywood section, click on filter, that it will give all the movies that we have saved inside that category. So right now it is not working because we didn't code of that. Okay, so just back to editor. For that we need to use a filter hook, that is add filter, and something called parse query. About this filter hook, guys, we actually learned in our previous video session. Okay, another parameter we need to pass the callback function, so let's say WPL parse query category. just we have to define this callback function. So just I'm going to copy that, and let's see that function. This is the function name that we have created. Inside this function we are going to write our parse query section. So basically it will take a parameter that is query. Okay, so we have to pass some of the global parameters to check something called type now. Let's pass another variable called page now. In the next parameter we need to actually retrieve the value of category ID. Okay, so just I'm going to copy again on all movie section. As we can see that there is no query string attached with this URL right now. Okay, so if I copy this URL, just back to editor, open a new tab, this is the URL, okay, with no query string instead of this post type. Okay, just back to browser. If I click on Bollywood, filter, and now if I copy this URL, just back to editor, let's pass that. So this contain a ID called filter by category. This is the name that we have passed right here. As we can see, filter by category, this is the name section of this WP drop down pages. So by the help of this filter by category, we actually retrieve the category ID from this URL. Okay, so just I'm going to copy this filter by category, back to editor, and let's say that category ID, it's that, let's say that get, we need to retrieve this integer value of that. Okay, so just I'm going to copy and pass inside this interval function. Okay, or let's make empty value. Okay, so if I save this file, just we need to check some of the values by using if condition. So let's say if type now equal to movie, because we are going to filter out the movie section. Okay, next we have to check something called page now equal to this gives the page file. Okay, so basically we have opened the edit.php, as you can see, edit.php file. Okay, so basically page now contains the value of called edit.php. So we need to check that while making filter of this filter box, we have to check that the post type should be movie, and now the page should be edit.php, and also we have to check that category ID should not be empty value. Okay, so let's say that is not empty. Okay, by satisfying all these values, that is page now, type now, and the category ID, we need to filter out the movies inside this block. So let's start to make use of this query variable. So just I'm going to copy query, and this contains an object called query vars. Okay, it will take the some values, something called meta key. Basically guys, as you have remembered from the previous video session, so this is the meta key that we have registered to save our category ID and something called movie category selected. Okay, so just I'm going to copy, this is the meta key that we have registered to save the category section related with that movie. Okay, now inside this meta key we need to pass the meta key that we want to actually show. Okay, this is the meta key. In the next parameter we need to pass the meta value, so that is query vars, and now inside this query vars we need to pass the meta value. Okay, and this meta value should be an integer value, and now this integer value contains the category ID. Okay, so just I'm going to copy integer category ID, let's pass right here. So if I save this file, go to browser, reload this page, so as we can see that there is no movie selector right now. Let's select some of the movies from this drop down. So let's say cartoon. So basically this cartoon section contains a movie called movie 3. Okay, let's pass Hollywood. This contains the movie 2 option. Okay, so let's pass another movies. So let's say movie 5. This contains the value in cartoon section. Just I'm going to publish. Let's add another movies. Let's say that movie 6. This is in Hollywood section. So if I go to all movie section, let's pass called cartoon filter, and now this cartoon section contains the 2 movies. All we have to do, we have to make the selected filter box as the selected value that we have select. Okay, so just I'm going to go inside this editor. This is a drop down that we have created. So right now selected does not contains any of the value. Okay, so first of all we have to take the ID from the query string that we have passed inside this filter by category. Okay, so just I'm going to copy this. Let's say that category ID equal to age set. this is the category guide ID that we are retrieving from the query string. And now we need to retrieve this value from the URL. Okay, so basically it will be integer value. Okay, so just pass that. Instead of this, let's pass 0 value. Okay, so just we have to copy this category ID and pass here. All we have done now, we have retrieved the filter by category from the URL section, stored inside this variable, and now this is variable we have passed inside this selected attribute. Okay, so just saving this file, reload this page, and now as we can see that the cartoon has been now selected. If I click on Hollywood, now as we can see that the Hollywood is now selected, and these are the two values that we have filtered. Again I'm going to click on South Indians. This is the movie that we have created inside this category, and this is the selected value. So these are the things guys that we have studied inside this whole video playlist called WordPress custom post type. All it contains all the basic concepts about the custom post type, how can we use custom post type, and how we can make use of custom post type in plugin development. Okay, in the next video session guys, we will see that how can we show these post type details that we have created inside our administrator panel to our front end pages. Means we want to show all these informations of custom post type to the front end pages. Okay, so in this video session guys, if you have any query, then please drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Hello guys, welcome to online web tutor presented by Proof of Tech Solutions team. I am Sanjay. We are learning WordPress custom post type tutorial for beginners, and this is part 15. In this video session guys, we will see that how can we show custom post type values to our front end pages. And also guys, if you are a beginner to this channel, then please don't forget to subscribe and keep watching our previous video sessions that we have seen inside this playlist called WordPress custom post type. So basically guys, up to part number 14, we have completed all the basic concepts about custom post type and how can we make use of custom post type to our plugin development. All we have discussed in great detail. So basically, if you go to administrator panel, this is the custom post type that we have registered called movies. Okay, so we want that all movie which we have created inside this custom post type, we want to show all these movies to our front end page. Okay, so first of all, let's add some of the dummy values inside this movie. So let's say that this is movie 6 we have seen. Okay, this is the first dummy content that we have created inside this movie 6. Just go all movies. Let's say movie 5. I'm going to change this dummy content, all movies, movie 3. This is movie 3 as we have seen, all movies. First of all guys, actually I put some of the dummy contents to all these movies that we have created, because right now there is no content inside this movie section. Okay, so because we are going to retrieve all the movie details to our front end pages, so that's why I filled all the movies with that details. Okay, so basically guys, all we have done for this dummy contents, all we have to do, we have to show this value to our front end pages. So first of all, just going to pages section, let's make another page, dummy page. Let's say that OWT, or let's say that movie page. Okay, basically this is the movie that we have registered inside this page section. I'm going to publish. Let's say it in front end. So this is the front end page that we have developed called movie section. So we want to show, so for showing all movies inside this page, first of all we have to make a custom page for this page type. Okay, so how can we achieve that? First, let's go to themes folder of our custom folder. Okay, so this is the folder structure of our project. Inside this WP content, and this is the themes. Okay, inside this themes, if you go to the appearances theme section, so as you can see that we can find our activated currently theme. So this is 2017 current activated theme. Okay, so just we have to go inside this 2017 theme. Okay, so now inside this folder we have to make a page for that. Okay, so let's make a file called page movie.php. This is the custom page guys that we have developed for our movie page that we have developed. And this is the prefix that we have to add to make the custom page. Okay, so this is the slug. This is the page name that we have created. If you go to administrator panel, click on pages, clicking on movie section. And now as we can see that after clicking on edit, this is the slug, this is the page slug. And now by making use of this page slug, page hyphen, and this is the movie, this is the prefix that we have to add according to the WordPress to make any of the custom page for that page. Okay, so just I'm going to open the page movie.php file. So let's say that inside this h3 tag, let's say that this is our custom page for movie. Okay, so if I save this file, go to front end, just reload this page, and now as we can see that this is the page that we have developed. Okay, so again go to that page, and let's say that all we have to include our footer function and the header function for this page. So let's say that get header. Okay, this is the get header function, guys, which basically includes the header of the theme to this page, and all we have to include our footer section as well. So let's say that get footer. Okay, so if we save this file, go to browser, and now reload this page, as we can see that this is the header section that we have included, and now this is the footer section that we have included, and this is the content. Okay, so all we have to do, all we have to render our custom post that we have created inside this section. For showing all movies, guys, we have multiple options to do that. Okay, first we are going to use called WP query. Okay, so let's say that inside this PHP tag, let's say that movie posts. Now we have to use a class that is movie query. This is WP query, WordPress provided class. And now inside this constructor we need to pass the post type. Okay, so let's say that inside this array we have to pass called post type, and the post type that we have to, if you have remembered that we have created about the movie section. Okay, so we have to pass called the movie. This is the custom post type that we have created, and now we want to show all these details of this movie to our this custom page. Okay, so all we have to pass, let's say that query posts. This is the WordPress function, basically take the WP query object that we have created. So just we have to pass. After making use of query post, we have to actually render all these data while using while loop. Okay, so let's say that while query have posts inside this while loop. So first of all we have to close, so let's say end while. So basically inside this while block we want to actually render all the data that we have retrieved inside this variable called movie posts. Okay, so first of all let's say that query the post. This line basically indicates that how can we move to next post type, means post to post, post to post. Okay, this is the loop incremented variable that we have defined. Next, what we have to do, we have to show all the movies details inside this while loop. Okay, so let's say that inside this div element, this is the div element that we have defined. Inside this div, let's say that within h4 tag we want to show our movie title. Okay, so let's say that within this PHP tag echo get the title is the WordPress function, basically gives you the title of that post type. Okay, so let's say that get the title. Again inside this div element we want to show the description of this movie section. Okay, so for that we need to use called the get the content function. Okay, or the content function. So if we save these details, go to our page that we have created, reload this page, I think that we did a mistake and we have an error. Okay, so first of all we have to check the error. So just go to your themes folder. Inside this themes folder just go to your project folder, and now inside this WP config we need to change WP debug from false to true value. Okay, basically it will give the error that we are getting. Okay, so just save this file, reload this page, and now as we can see that this is the error, and error is something called undefined variable query that we have defined on line number 15. Okay, so just back to editor. Inside this is the page movie, and now line number 15, I think something like that here. Okay, this is the query, and also guys we have made the movie post as the variable name, so just make copy of that. Let's replace with this query and this query. Okay, this is the silly mistake that we did. Okay, after saving that, if you go to browser, reload this page, and now as we can see that these all movies that we have created, this is the title and this is the description. Okay, so step by step guys, we actually retrieve about the movie details. So how can we retrieve the category that we have saved regarding with our movies? So you just go to administrator panel, click on movies, and now as we can see that this is the movie 6 as we have saved inside our category called Hollywood. Okay, go to all movie section again. If I click on movie 5, this is the category cartoon that we have saved with this movie. Okay, so how can we get that data in our page at front end? Okay, so by the help of guys the function that we actually studied about the get post meta, by the help of that WordPress function we retrieve the post type. So just back to editor, and now this is the file that we have developed. Okay, so inside this another p tag, let's say that movie category. Okay, inside this movie category we want to show the category that we have selected for this particular movie. Okay, for that we are going to use called the get post meta function. This is the WordPress function guys, which basically takes some of the parameters from us. First it will take the ID. Okay, so by making use of get the ID, this is the WordPress function which basically gives you the ID of that post we are retrieving. Okay, currently on. So next we have to pass the key name. Okay, so if we go to the database, this is the database that we have registered for this project. Okay, inside this just I'm going to click on WP post meta. As you have remembered, then this is the actually key that we have registered, that is movie category selected. If I copy this key, go to editor, and now let's make use of that. In the next parameter we need to pass the true value. Basically that true value indicates that we are retrieving the single value with this post type. Okay, this is the post key. So let's pass true value. So once we save that, just go to browser, reload this page, and now as we can see that this is the movie category 62, 65 and the 65 again. This is the ID that we have retrieved from this database field. As we can see that this is the key, and now this key has given us 62, that is the post type. Because category also we have registered as the custom post type. Okay, so if we go to edit section, this is the 63 ID. Basically this is the post ID. Okay, if you go to WP post table, just go to WP post table, let's find out for the 63 ID. This 63 ID gives you the detail of that post type, and now this post type has the title called post title. Okay, so according to these post type IDs guys, we are going to retrieve the details of this post from this WP post table. Okay, so how can we retrieve that? Just back to editor, we are going to use the function called get post. Okay, so let's do that. First of all we are going to retrieve the post detail. So let's say that post detail, this is called get post. This is the function actually retrieve information about the particular post. Okay, so we have to pass the ID of this. Okay, I am going to pass this ID, means just I'm going to cut this function from here, and let's pass here, this is called the category ID. Okay, just I'm going to assign this value to this variable. All we have to pass this category ID inside this function. Okay, by getting this category ID inside this function, it will give all the details of that post inside this variable. So if we just copy that, let's say print r, if we save this file, reload this page, now as we can see that these are the details actually we have retrieved according to this ID. So how can we get the value of that post title? So this is the post title that we have to retrieve. Okay, so basically as you see that this is an object, this is a WP post object. So how can we retrieve the value from that? Just back to editor, and now let's say that because this is an object, and also guys we can convert this object into an array, okay, by passing the second value right here. This is array associative array. This is the second value that we have to pass inside this get post meta function. So if we do that, just reload this page, and now as we can see that this is now converted into array section. Okay, so if we want to access that value, so let's say that echo, this is post details, and now within square brackets we have to pass the post title as the key, because we are going to retrieve this post title as the value. So just I'm going to copy and paste it here. Let's save the changes and reload this page. So this is the movie category that we have created: Hollywood, this is cartoon, this is cartoon, and now these are the categories with that movie details. In case of object, how can we retrieve that? So if I just remove that from here, let's say that post details, and now post title becomes as the key of that object. So by using arrow operator, we can actually retrieve the post title from that. Okay, and now output remains same. Okay, this is the first way, guys, that how can we retrieve our custom post types to our front end page. This is the first way. What will be the second way? Second way, we have to make the custom SQL query. Okay, how can we do that? If I just remove this while statement from here, just remove all this section, let's make a new tab, paste it here, and now inside this page movie section, we have to make the call of, let's say that it's not global, it's, let's say that, get post function. So let's say that movies equal to get posts. Basically this is a WordPress function, guys, which retrieves all the informations that you actually pass inside this variable. Okay, so inside this variable we are going to pass the post type that we are going to retrieve, that is called post type equal to movie. Okay, by getting this key, it will retrieve all the posts from our table called WP post according to this movie type. Okay, so if I copy this movies variable, paste it here, and let's say print R, pass here, just save the changes, reload this page, and now as we can see that these all details of the movie post type that we have created. So if we inspect that, go to this div id content, scroll down, so as we can see that movie 6, movie 5, movie 3, so these all details that we actually get by passing or by making use of function called get post. This is the second way how can we retrieve the movie custom post type to our front end page. Okay, now in the third way we can make our custom SQL query. So how can we achieve that? Let's make a use of global variable called global WPDB. WPDB, let's say get results. Inside this get results function we have to pass called SQL query, something called select asterisk from WPDB posts. It will give the post table, okay, in WPDB post, and now where post type something should be movie, okay, and the status something should be published. Okay, so these are the details, guys, that we have to pass to make use of the SQL query to get all movies that we have created. So this is the movies. Okay, so if I make use of these movies, let's print R, and now if we save this file, again reload this page, and now as we can see that the results has been same without no changes. If we inspect that, just scroll down, these are the details that we have retrieved from our custom SQL query. So we have basically, guys, three options to retrieve data from our custom post type to our front end page. First, we have seen about the make use of the WP query inbuilt class. Okay, in the second we have used the function called get post. In the third, we have injected our custom SQL query to get all the data from our WP post table. Okay, so basically, guys, by the help of this video session we learned about that how can we show our custom post type values to our front end pages. And also, guys, if you have any doubt in this video session, then please drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session, guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day.